This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Jr.
The villain, Marty Scurll.
The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the busted wide open.
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 Boston wide open.
Busted wide open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from across the BWO universe of YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Welcome everybody to episode number 324 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And may the four horsemen be with you. Is that how this nerd thing works? Is it may the four I'm Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to the show. And if John Morrison is America's most wanted, then this show is Raw and Order Special Dangerous Unit, because we are here to talk about an episode of Raw, Nick, that I've got to say was actually kind of good.
Oh.
Raw was better this week. It was actually watchable for the most part. Well, I guess we're going to have to go through it scene by scene.
You and me going to have to have a conversation.
Segment by segment, and break down what worked and what didn't on Raw. That's what the show's going to be. Also, New Japan Wrestling Dontaku happened this weekend with a major title change, as well as another contender for Match of the Year. Already happened. New Japan doing it again to you.
Shit.
But we're going to talk about all of that later on in the show. First things first, we got to do a little business.
Yes, indeed. And guys, if I come across like I'm struggling over here, I tweaked my back last night, and it's going to be a long show, so bear with me. I'm not going to be as big and boisterous, maybe, unless Ian triggers me by saying Raw was good.
It already's happening.
Ow. Ow.
That's right,
It
pal.
makes my muscles twitch. Linktree.com/BWO. You guys know where to find us. Go over there and like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, all your wrestling pals about Busted Wide Open. Let everybody know what's going on. Oh, man, you guys are going nuts already over in the chat.
Whoa!
Look at you. Is that Uncle Greg going nuts? I think that's who that is. Man, goodness. Linktree.com/BWO. Special shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you guys so much. And hey, in the big news, we were on Going In Raw.
We were on Going In Raw. Thank you to Steven Larson for having us over there. You can check us out on their channel right now. We were on their Matt Chat episode this last weekend. Came up last Sunday. So if you're curious to see your boys in another venue, another milieu, if you will, you can go check us out over there on Going In Raw.
Cashing in a little bit of our cachet that we took away from WrestleMania there. So it was nice. It was fun fielding questions, kind of like our patron mailbag. They take questions in from their patrons, and we all got to answer them in our own unique ways. It was a lot of fun.
It was cool.
A lot of good
We'll
times.
do it again. Yep. Thanks again.
For some reason, the business isn't working over here, so that's gonna make things even more interesting tonight. So good times. It's gonna be that kind of show tonight, guys. If things are going up. I saw Uncle Greg put up a bunch of gifted tier 1 subs, dude. Thank you so much. Let's see what we got here. Moff Dog. That's a great name. The Mog says, Jackson Storm. Oh my goodness. Oh, now they're all coming through. Thank you, Stream Elements, for finally working. Thank you so much for all the gifted tier 1 subs. And if you got a gifted sub from Hito Kitty Jello, make sure you say thanks. Thank you, Uncle Greg.
Also, look at this right back at the beginning. J Wolf 1974 extended his subscription through June.
I don't even know what that means, but thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. You're the one who should know what that means.
I know I should know what that means, but thank you very much. Yeah, it looks like just everything's lagging tonight.
And J Wolf also said, he threw in 100 bits. Thank you very much. And he said, better is a relative term. I think Sir Ian had been so worn down that any relief is looked on as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually completely accurate. It was after everything that Raw has been, it was not a complete failure of a show. So you know what?
It wasn't as smelly of a turd as it has been in previous weeks, but it's still a turd.
I wouldn't call it a turd, though.
All right.
You know what? Maybe it was like a horse chip. It actually is kind of useful. You can like dry it and like burn it in a fire. It's actually like kind of useful. You keep warm in the winter if you have horse chips. It wasn't a complete wet, smelly.
That's called a manure pile,
turd.
is what that is. By the way,
well, you can fertilize fields
apparently, I'm
with
gonna have to drop some Southern logic on you guys.
You're right. It's useful. Y'all use fertilizer down there,
Yeah, everything.
right?
Yeah,
I know
peat
you
moss.
use everything.
Here's a Southern one for you: peat moss.
Peat moss.
If you know what peat moss is, you might be
I'm
Southern.
Scottish. I'm Scottish.
Right.
You know I know what peat is.
It's poop. It's churned poop is what it is.
It makes for delicious whiskey is what it does as well.
Hey, there you go. There you
Heyo.
go. Well, let's not dilly-dally any longer. I'm getting some confirmations that it's not anything wrong with me. There's some serious lag going on. Thank you there, Sheriff McDonald. Sheriff. For your service. Let's go over and kick things off with what went down last night on Monday Night Raw.
Well, apparently T-Bar and Mace were not on Raw because they're busy making our show lag. Retribution!
Yep.
Still happening. But they were nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, we got a whole bunch of Strowman and Lashley and Drew McIntyre in our faces. We had not one, but two backstage promos from MVP talking
the same
about
promo,
how unfair.
basically.
It's the same damn promo in hour 1 and hour 2. Like, what the heck are you guys doing? It's funny because probably one of the least interesting things about Raw right now is its title picture. Braun and Lashley had a singles match, which Braun won. I crap you not, by a coin toss at the top of the show. And if that's not an indictment of the WWE booking process, I don't know what is. That had to have been some sort of inside joke.
That's some fourth wall shit right there.
The only way it could have been better is if Adam Pearce had been back there with a dart with Vince's face on it and just threw it on a dartboard covered in matches for the evening. Tonight, Lashley will face you're going to face Angel Garza. Why not? It's where it landed. So that's what we got. Braun Strowman versus Lashley in the main event. Of course, this did make logical sense because Drew McIntyre was salty about losing to Lashley last week. Braun being inserted in this and making a triple threat. So now he's all testosteroned up and slapping his balls against Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman's all lathered up and he's slapping his balls against Drew, and Lashley's slapping balls against both of them, and they're just all very masculine and testosterone fueled and not happy with each other.
Here's my question. Why are either one of them wrestling Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw? This is the championship. Why aren't they wrestling each other? Why aren't they qualifying for the contendership in any way? Why are they wrestling the champion? Why is the champion lowering himself? This is what doesn't make sense to me.
You sound like MVP, where he's like, "Why are we doing this?" And you know what? MVP's speaking the truth.
Yeah.
We've got the champ. We've already determined that they're both number one contenders. They're both going to have the triple threat at Backlash. WrestleMania Backlash. And so now it's just a matter of getting there. And apparently we're getting there by having both of them have one-on-one matches against Lashley to prove that they can either beat him or, in this case, that he can beat them. And I have a feeling that next week when we get Drew and Lashley one-on-one, but I don't know why we had the coin flip. It's like to see who goes first this week. Okay. Next week when we get McIntyre against Lashley, which we've already seen, and we know that Lashley can beat him straight up. We know that. We're going to get a similar result to what we had in the main event this week, which was Lashley versus Strowman doing a bunch of big man things. Nothing new between the two of them, really. Drew's nearby. He's on commentary. Strowman runs into him at one point accidentally. Drew gets mad, pushes him. Strowman pushes him back. Drew gets up on the apron, distracts Strowman. Strowman eats a spear. 1, 2, 3. Thanks to a distraction finish, he gets pinned by Bobby Lashley. So we already know Drew can lose to Lashley straight up. Now we find out that Strowman can lose to him if he's distracted. And that's it. That's all that's new about this feud. And it's unfortunate because historically, Strowman and Lashley have had a great feud. Historically, Drew and Lashley have had a great feud. But for some reason, all three of them together is a boring feud. And there's no dynamic here that makes it more interesting. They're not adding things to this to make it more interesting. And again, Mason T-Bar, they got name checked by Drew backstage, who called them Mason Teabag. Oh, whoa, Drew, you went for their names. You told them they took off the stupid masks, but they kept the stupid names. It's low-hanging fruit, dude. Like these poor bastards didn't choose to have crappy WWE creative names, and burying them further isn't going to help you or them. But here we are, and they're not even on the show to keep things interesting.
Yeah.
So we don't even know what the hell they're doing because I don't think WWE creative knows what they're doing with them. So it's frustrating. And while the two of them are busy screwing up my my computer right now, so I'm lagging all over the place. So while I'm lagging, Nick, why don't you give me your thoughts about this whole main event?
It's crap. It's really look, listen, we came out of WrestleMania hot. Everybody thought that it was going to be the anointment of Drew McIntyre for reals with fans this time. Boy, we got swerved. And we were okay, that's a commitment. Now we're going to keep it on Bobby till SummerSlam. Okay, let's go. I was into this. Now he's having at least contentions, if not full defenses, what seemed like every single week. Why is he the one having to determine who his opponent or opponents are going to be? Why can't we make up some kind of contest? Why can't we have some qualifiers or a gauntlet of some kind?
We had a qualifying match, whatever it was, a week or two ago, and Braun Strowman got into the match because of shenaniganry from Mason T-Bar.
So why is he wrestling Bobby Lashley again?
But that's
a week
where
later.
I'm coming from with this. Is why now there's nothing happening that's intriguing between these three men. They're just being big dumb balls of testosterone and slapping against each other. They're having dick measuring contests out here, and it all feels very and none of it is intriguing. This just feels like, I mean, and they said it multiple times on the show. It was the first word that I had in my head for it, and they said it multiple times. It feels like a bunch of bulls out there running into each other, and that's it. There's no depth, there's no interest. It's just me want title, me no like you, ooga booga.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. That's the depth of it, and that's not intriguing. And it's not that interesting.
It's hard pressed for me to sit here and say that I didn't like two giant kaiju fighting each other in a match at the end that even involved a third one, as he waited no time to come out and sit ringside at commentary and then get involved with it there at the end. Yeah. So I'm listen, on paper, that's my jam. Like I'm really into that. But the way that this is, like, I wanted Bobby Lashley to get legitimized. I wanted him, and this is kind of doing it in a way, but it's not making especially for a heel champion. Why is he doing so much work? He doesn't have to prove anything.
Well, and this is, I think that on one level, like, I would like to see him doing less as well, but that's kind of Roman Reigns' shtick on the other brand, where you have a heel champ who just, does everything to avoid matches unless there's something in it for him. Whereas Lashley, for whatever reason, is, a defending champ. He's out there fighting every week. Not defending, per se, the belt, but he's out there having matches. And so in that sense, like, I think it's good to have him contrast Roman Reigns in a sense. But again, the point here is to make it feel like either one of these guys could beat him at Backlash and take the title. You also need to establish why these two guys could pin each other. Like, you're creating the scenario between the three guys here, but it's just being done in such a clunky way that's disappointing. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the idea of Drew versus Braun versus Lashley. As you say, bunch of big dudes, big kaiju. That should be awesome. It's just they're doing it in such a clunky, ham-handed way. What I want to see is these three guys wrecking shop. One of the things that made the past feuds between Lashley and McIntyre cool is them doing big boy things to each other and feeling like there was actual, actual like major conflict between the two. Strowman and Lashley, they showed some footage on this show. He put Lashley through the Titantron. Like, have some more of that. Have a big stunt. Yeah. Have some major chaos or like a massive, sort of destruction thing happen. That would be really cool. That would bring interest. That would be something different than Braun and Drew don't like each other and keep interrupting each other's matches or having screwy finishes to cause outcomes.
Yeah.
This just feels very paint by numbers, and it's not interesting. And unfortunately, they're kind of not doing what should be a home run any service here.
Yeah. It should be real easy. I do want to address what the sheriff said in chat there. It's on one end of the spectrum, it's Lesnar with the title who shows up 3 times a year to defend it. and people are pissed. And then Lashley shows up and he's actually defending it week to week, or at least being in matches as a fighting champion.
Right.
And people are pissed. And it's not about one or those or the other. It's about how it's being handled from a creative perspective. There's no imagination. There's no invention. There's no trying to do things in a way that's exciting. Now, flip a coin and Braun Strowman's going to have a match.
Right. That seemed very lazy indeed.
It's just lazy.
And the sheriff's right. Like, there's a way that you can have a champion who barely ever defends, and they're kind of doing it with Roman Reigns right now, where he's like, why should I come out and defend it? Make me. I've got this political pull. I don't have to. On the other side of things, you got Bobby Lashley, where it's like, why do you have MVP around if he can't negotiate you a better scenario every week than having to shoo these peons off you?
Right.
So, and it's unfortunate because it is a much less interesting situation than if they'd kept the Hurt Business together, and then you've got goons for people to go through. You could have Drew and Braun deal with Hurt Business to get there. You could have the two of them have a match okay, Drew and Braun have issues. Let's have them have a match. Hurt Business runs in. It turns into a tag match. It's similar to what they're doing the last couple of weeks, but there's just more aspects to it. There's more going on. It's less just one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
So, again, something more creative here.
Yeah.
At least when Brock was here every 3 months, it was an event every time he showed up. But aside from that, it was frustrating because you felt like it was a ghost champ.
Totally.
So you don't want to go to that. You don't want to go to that route either.
It was too far. It's a tale of two extremes, right?
Tale of two extremes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that being said, on the other side of things, we had a match that we just had at WrestleMania. We had a straight-up WrestleMania rematch. AJ Styles and Omos came back from vacation. They admitted that they weren't there because they were out partying because they had just gotten these new shiny tag team championships. AJ Styles now a Grand Slam champion in WWE, and they came back to have their rematch against the New Day, who said, look, we're 11-time champs. We know we can beat you guys. It's literally what we do. We get knocked down, we get back up, we get our championships back. Cool. Good logic all around. Explain away AJ Styles and Omos's disappearance for the last 2 weeks. Hey, we were out partying.
We went to the Caribbean. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. We were out there sipping margaritas. Cool. New Day comes out and says we want our rematch right now because we'll win it back because that's what we do. Cool. All right. You've explained why we have a rematch right away. And then we had the exact same match we had at WrestleMania. Only Omos starts this time, and the way that Kofi and Xavier kind of danced around him for the first part of this match was hilarious. He finally, quote, accidentally tags out when he high-fives AJ, and the ref calls it a tag, and they kind of go, oh, okay, cool, whatever. AJ gets in, gets beaten down by New Day for a while, finally makes it to a tag to Omos. Omos gets in and just cleans house again. And both the members of the New Day just sell like death for him. Looks like $1 million again. And once again wins, this time pinning Xavier Woods. Nick, is it crazy that I liked this? What did you think of this before I give my
Can
opinion?
I start with the promo before we got to the match?
Naturally.
I felt that was below the bar that the AJ Styles and the New Day are capable of. I wanted it to be more. It felt a little improv riff. Too much.
It felt like it had been put on the written 5 minutes before it, which it may have been.
Here's 3 bullet points, make it work.
Or just, we got nothing, go out there and do something. And Braun Strowman actually confirmed this week in an interview that the stuff has been very, very last minute at Raw the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah,
Braun.
no shit.
Couldn't tell at all that y'all were winging this.
Outside of that, I thought the match was fun. I'm digging the new phenomenal forearm off the top of Omos, off his shoulders. Yep. I think that's a nice twist. They need to give it some kind of name, like maybe a super phenomenal forearm, super duper phenomenal forearm. I don't know, super Omos phenomenal
giant forearm,
something like that.
Giant phenomenal forearm.
Give it a name, make it stick. Make it something that can be a gimmick kind of thing that you can put it on merch. What would you call that? To put on
forearm.
Yeah. Omos got some rounding out to do, got some rough edges, but the future's bright for that young man. I'm fascinated by his size and his ability. His closing speed for someone that big is nice.
Yeah, he moves real well.
He's fast.
How long before they rebrand him, kind of like Big Daddy V, before they brand him the Big O?
Oh boy.
What?
Oh God, no.
What?
Like the double entendre kind of stuff, and
I don't know
no.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's a big, and his name begins with
It
O.
starts
That's
with
all
O.
I was
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yeah. Please don't do that, WWE. They show up here, Ian. They
You're right.
listen. They.
That's
Ow,
true.
it
They
hurts.
do.
Don't make me laugh.
This is gonna be my joy for the day. Is just one-liners that make Nick's back spasm. But no, here's the thing. What I liked about this, it was a complete repeat of WrestleMania. It was about as straightforward and lazy as you get, or it should be on paper, except that they framed it in a way that was AJ Styles and Omos cementing the fact that they were the top of the tag division at a time when the commentary made sure to say, hey, the tag division in Raw is kind of crazier than it's been in a while. You've got RK Bro tearing things up now. You've got the Viking Raiders returning. You had Cedric and Shelton, but we'll get to that in a little bit later. You've still got Lucha House Party running around. You've got Jackson Riker and Elias. You've got Miz and Morrison. Like, there are a lot of significant tag teams you could be messing with on Raw. AJ Styles and Omos are the real deal. So that, in that sense, putting it in that context, it made me go, okay, you've reminded me that they're a real deal, and now I'm salivating thinking about the matches they could have going forward. So in that sense, it was an effective segment. And I got to say, Nick, I do really enjoy watching. Like, I'm already a big fan of Omos because, as you were saying, like, for a big dude, not only his presence, but his moves, his speed, like, he's obviously been taking those big boy classes down in the PC that Vince sent all the big boys to. He's obviously listening. He's learning really well. I love the fact that he's not like a great mic worker yet, but he's got a couple of lines that, like, I feel if they just let him go, he could do. He told him before this match, he goes, come get this work. And I went, oh, yeah, come get this work. Yeah, Omos. Damn. The way he said it fired me up.
I'll tell you this. I got lost in my own head when AJ Styles said, I'm the newest Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
And here's why. He debuted at the 2016 Royal Rumble, so January 2016, little over 5 years ago. Guys, in 2015, he was leading Bullet Club in New Japan, right, as in champ. So he was the reason I'm saying all of this, I got lost in my own head of just everything that has happened in this minor span of 5 years. Kenny and Okada, all of the Roman Shield breakup and Roman Reigns stuff, like all of this Roman Reigns go away heat kind of stuff. Like, all of this has happened in this kind of just concatenated period of 5 years. It is amazing to me to sit here and think that 5 years ago we were watching AJ Styles get turned on in New Japan, and 5 years later and if you had told me then, like, he's gonna be the next
Grand Slam champ.
He's gonna end up in 5 years, he'll be one of the highest profile, winningest Grand Slam champions of all time in WWE.
5 years,
That's
I
a
would have
lot
believed
to
it.
think of.
I would have believed it. When he first showed up in WWE, I said this guy could go a long way in WWE. People have wanted him in WWE for over a decade.
Yeah.
They've said this guy could kill in WWE. Vince has gone on record, like AJ was interviewed about it. He said, Vince told me I should have hired you 15 years ago. But, you know, he didn't. For whatever reason, he didn't. He didn't get it. You know, so, and then AJ had to go and do his thing around the world too to get on Vince's radar, I guess. And Vince didn't even have him on his radar until AJ came in and proved to Vince that he is all that. So yeah, it's funny how time works. Who would have thought that Samoa Joe would come in, never be a champion, and then leave his tail between his legs? You know, you never know. You just never know. But on that, while we're speculating, Nick, I got a big question for you.
Okay.
Knowing Vince's predilections, knowing what he's done in the past based on people's size alone, nothing to do with their talent. Having a guy the size of Omos with the apparent talent that he has, based on what we've just seen of him so far, over under on Omos one day being world champion in WWE.
Very high.
I'll take the over on that.
Big time.
I think he could be.
I'll take that bet.
Yeah.
If he can, it sounds like, I mean, it seems obvious English isn't his first language, I'm not sure what is, but he's still got a little bit of stumbles. I don't know if it's nerves or green or whatever it might be, but there's like those little chips can get those can be chipped away. Reps. It's just reps.
I feel like I don't know if it's not his first language, but I don't feel like his English is that bad.
No, it's not bad. There's
we've heard him
something.
talk.
I don't know whether it's language barrier or whether it's nerves. But there's something there that like we can chip those little rough edges away.
Right.
And he can be something really special.
Maybe send him to the same acting classes that Rhea Ripley is allegedly going to.
There you go.
She's apparently going to acting classes to work on her confidence and work on her cadence, make things sound more natural. You could tell a little bit this week that it was she was taking some difficult verbiage and making it natural. I feel like it's hard to string together long sentences into a promo. I'm serious based on what they give you the last minute. So I can't blame Amos for, sticking to one or two sentences, a couple of epithets. Like, that doesn't surprise me. He's a damn giant. When in the history of WWE has Vince needed a giant to go out there and be loquacious?
The sheriff makes a good point. They even put the title on the Great Khali. He couldn't speak English at all or barely move. And they put the title on him.
Yes, that's exactly my point. If he's going to strap Great Khali, if he's going to put Giant Gonzalez in a match with Undertaker,
yeah.
What is he going to do with this guy who can talk a bit,
right?
And has more of a presence than either of those two guys, and obviously more wrestling talent than both of them put together. So
you don't even need to have wrestling talent. Just be a striker and run the ropes. It doesn't. It's not like you have to have some crazy moves. But that dude's out there doing like fireman carries into knee breakers, and it's like he knows what he's doing. He's got the ability.
And as we've said before, like he also gets the psychology of it, like the way that he was crushing Kofi's chest, and grinding his foot into it. I still think back about that. Like that was just such a little thing that to me indicates him getting it so well, like just the comprehension of what you've got to be doing out there. That spoke a lot to me. So I've got very high hopes for Amos.
Let's see. Brian Lake cheered 100 bits. Said I just re-upped my Patreon subscription for a year because long-term booking. Woo!
I applaud your long-term booking.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Yes.
And that's the smart way to do it too for you guys that haven't jumped into the year thing yet, because you get a big old 10% off for doing it for the year. Listen, you guys know you're going to want those bonus episodes. Go ahead and jump in. Just save yourself some money. Thank you very much, Brian. J Wolf threw in 100 bits, said WWE's biggest problem, at least on Raw, is not bad ideas, it's bad execution. Raw Underground was not a bad idea. It was poorly executed. An absentee champion is not a bad idea. It was poorly executed in Lesnar. The Fiend is not a bad idea. It has been poorly executed. Across the board, Jay. You're exactly right.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And Sheriff actually right after that points out something that's also very true, that they put Amos with AJ for a reason. And I think at first it was just a visual gag. It was absolutely a visual gag. AJ Styles comes out, and then this gigantic behemoth comes out behind him and just stands behind him, and AJ makes AJ look like an absolute kindergartner. It's funny as hell. And Vince was in the back going, look how little AJ is. We're going to start calling him Shorty AJ.
It's like real-life grown-up Nicholas standing next to Braun.
Exactly. And that's the thing, though. Yes, it may have started out as a visual gag. It may have started out as, AJ Styles can teach this man something. It's ending up as AJ Styles is teaching this. Like you put Amos with one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. If you want to have a future for Amos, that's a damn good way to ensure it.
Yep.
Because he's going to be learning from AJ Styles.
And you got him working with New Day, Xavier and Kofi.
Oh, yeah. You talk about a recipe for success. This is one thing I'm very, very bullish on right now in WWE is Amos.
Yeah.
I'm also, Nick, this is going to shock you.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
I'm also bullish on what they're doing with Charlotte Flair.
Oh, Here we go.
So this week, Charlotte Flair has a match with Dana Brooke. Once again, Sonya Deville is
I'm going to do air quotes and say match.
Match.
Right.
It was a match.
A bell rang, sure.
A bell. There was more of a match there. Hey, there was more of a match there than we usually get in the women's division. All right? Call it that. Dana got in some spots.
She did.
She got in some spots. She got top rope spots. She got a lot in. Then Charlotte finally put her in the figure 8, and that was all she wrote, as we knew going in. Charlotte slapping her around at the beginning and saying, you're still my protege, you're still my bitch. Damn, Charlotte. Damn, cold as ice. And then afterwards, Charlotte cuts a whiny, why me promo about why do I get passed over for these title opportunities? I should have been at WrestleMania. I got passed over. I should be in this title match at Backlash. I got passed over. I'm the opportunity. I'm the original influencer. I should be getting these things, but for some reason, because you all hate me, I'm not getting these. And Sonya Deville sitting next to her, just very seriously listening to her. And Charlotte says, what are you going to do about it, Sonya? And Sonya says, well, you make some great points. And you know what? I think you're right. It would actually be, the men are having a triple threat. I think it would be a much better event at Backlash if you were in the women's title match as well. So you know what? We're going to have a triple threat. Charlotte, Asuka, and Rhea for the title. Doesn't even get all her words out. Rhea Ripley's music hits. She comes out and goes, are you freaking kidding me?
I agree with
this. This is BS. Well, and Rhea comes down to the ring screaming about it. Barely gets the ring. Asuka comes out. She calls Charlotte a crybaby. Says, I'm going to kick your ass. Doesn't matter. I can beat you. I can beat you. I don't care because I'm Asuka. Things break down. Rhea gets in Sonya Deville's face.
Baby. I loved it.
He was so good. Rhea gets in Sonya's face. Charlotte tries to break it up. Rhea hits Charlotte. Charlotte hits Rhea. Asuka takes both of them out. Asuka stands tall in the ring at the end of the segment while Rhea still screams at Sonya Deville, and Charlotte is laughing about the whole thing. And I have to admit, I was too. This, if you want to play off of Charlotte's real life heat with everybody, Asuka's saying, I think Rhea was the one who actually said, nobody likes you, Charlotte. Here's the thing. They're absolutely taking that real life feeling and just turning the knife with this Sonya Deville aspect, with having Sonya be like, with having Charlotte bitch and complain and moan, and having Sonya be like, I totally hear you, and I'm going to put you in this match, and then having Adam Pearce scream at her backstage for it. I think all of that is, like, people are genuinely pissed that Charlotte's in this match. Like, you're invading this match. That's the kind of heel heat that this character, this new heel version of her, should be getting.
That's not what I'm pissed off about.
The why are you here heat. Then what are you pissed off about?
I'm pissed off at the lack of creativity with this spot. Again, going back to the men's thing and figuring out how to get them in a triple threat. You're just going to... So let me get this straight. You've had Charlotte wrestle Dana and Mandy. Obviously, there's some beef there for weeks now, right? It feels like you're building towards something, right? You're potentially giving these two ladies, these absolute workers that have been kind of just dredging the lower mid-card for the last, 5 years at least. You're giving them opportunities against the prototype, the future legend Charlotte Flair. And then you come out and you have a match with Dana Brooke. She gets in the figure 8 and very heelishly won't release it after the ref calls the match, right? After she taps out.
Yep.
So here comes Mandy Rose, right?
Yep.
Drop kicks her out of the figure 8.
Mm-hmm.
Starts beating down on Charlotte. They beat down on her. Sonya Deville's music hits right away. Mandy and Dana just disappear into thin air. What are you like? So all we're gonna book is the absolute top 1% of the card from now on. Is that what the deal is? WWE, we're not. We're not worried about anybody else anymore. We'll just everybody else that's in the women's division has to deal with Shayna and Nia, but we're only gonna book Charlotte, Rhea, and Asuka.
See, I felt like they gave Mandy and Dana a segment, and then it was a Charlotte, Rhea, and Asuka segment. There was 2 segments here separated by a commercial.
You're bringing Sonya down with Mandy in the ring. Opportunity to call back to some of that history.
And they did that last week, where she sicked Mandy. She sent Mandy out to die at the hands of Charlotte.
I'll never agree that this is okay. You can justify it and you can try to explain it away all you want. I just feel like
it's not the best. I agree with you. Like I would
There's
prefer
so much more we
there.
could do with the women's division than orbit everything around Charlotte and Nia.
I agree with that. Now that we absolutely agree on, and I think that there's part of that booking that they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're booking the whole division around Charlotte and then making a lot of her heat about the whole division being booked around her. Right? So there
couldn't have said it better.
Like, but you're still doing the thing that everyone's mad at her about. You're just channeling all of that anger towards her.
I'm not mad at Charlotte Flair being one of the best women of all time.
Right.
I'm not mad at her about that. She absolutely is, and I'll hand up. I'll absolutely say that.
But there is a certain amount of hypocrisy to last week saying Charlotte Flair doesn't need a title or doesn't need to be in the title picture to be a big deal, and having a whole bunch be around her, nothing to do with the title, and then not being able to book the title. Spending too much time on Charlotte, and then the title just kind of languishes in a big tag match. And the only time the title comes into the picture is when Charlotte's involved. It's almost been a curse if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right now Rhea has the title, and they really have nothing for her to do unless it's to do with Charlotte. They had something with Asuka, but they don't know how to build that feud.
They're not building anything else.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Before that, you had Asuka had the title, and what did she do with it for a year? She was involved in a bunch of the tag matches. They didn't know how to book Asuka as a champion. Before that, Becky had it. And remember, they didn't really know how to book Becky
after
as
Ronda.
A champion
It was
for a year.
Just put both belts on her, and let's see what happens
and then
there.
She lost the one belt, and then really didn't do much as champ beyond that. Yeah. They don't know how to book their women's champions unless they're involved in the tag picture, which they did with Bayley and Sasha over the summer last year. And the only reason that worked is because they were running SmackDown pretty much, and they haven't really had a major women's angle since. So Andy Murray over in What Culture timed all of the women's stuff on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, and Impact, and he got an average per hour time that they spent on women's matches in each company for the months of January through April. Raw averaged 4 minutes and 23 seconds an hour of women's wrestling. Now that's of course of every hour in the 3 hours.
That includes like backstage promos, all of that stuff too.
Everything.
Yeah.
SmackDown, 2 minutes and 56 seconds. By comparison, NXT was at 6:42, AEW was at 5:29, and Impact was at 5:21. All well over the 5 minute.
So not far off.
Not far off of Raw, but
you
apparently
can find
NXT,
more than 5 minutes on a 3-hour show. I'm sorry.
Right, and Impact, even with its great women's division, wasn't that high. NXT apparently was higher last year. They had a lot more women's stuff going. They were up in the 7-minute area, which makes sense.
A lot of Shotzi last year.
They have the biggest and best women's division in the world. I think that goes without saying. They promote themselves that way, and it's legit. But the fact that if you have a whole division and you can't find more than 4 minutes and 23 seconds an hour, then yeah, it's going to be somewhat limited what you're going to have at the end of the day. And he did say back when we had Bayley and Sasha on SmackDown, those numbers were higher because they had more to do. It's all a matter of they can choose how much they want to have. They can choose how, like, if you want to give more time in developing Rhea's character, you could do that. If you wanted to have more time where you develop a storyline with your champion, you could do that. They're choosing to not do that. And it makes some of the criticisms that Mickie James and others are now levying against them, how they just really don't have any investment in their women's division because they think that it's not a moneymaker, it's not bringing eyes to them. It lends credence to that. They're not investing in their women's division. They wonder why no one watched Evolution, according to them, on their metrics. And here's the thing. You can't expect people to watch something like that overnight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People aren't going to immediately just watch that. You have to make it engaging and interesting for some reason, You have to find a reason for people to watch it. And if you're not invested in it, people will sense that and they won't care.
I look forward to the day that we actually have a majority of women's division time over the men. It doesn't have to be all the time. I look forward to the day that there's enough creative for the women's division that it actually takes up most of the time on an episode of Monday Night Raw.
I feel like in the last few years, there have been times where they spent more time on the women's division.
Probably sure, Evolution, October 2018. Yeah, I mean, you could get behind that.
But in that era, they were spending. They were trying, and
they were pumping it up because of women's revolution, right?
And I feel like they've given up. They got bored with it.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
We will. You got to do any catching up, or how are we doing?
We're doing good. Other than a wow from JB.
No, I've got Kyle Cotton put in 100 here.
Oh,
Thank you very much,
yeah,
Kyle.
my stuff's not updating, guys. I'm sorry.
no?
I have to
Okay.
dig through the chat. Let's see. Brian Lake threw in 100 bits, said Sonya should have made Charlotte versus Mandy in a #1 contender match. Absolutely.
More stakes.
And have some kind of backhanded story behind it where I can't stand that Mandy Rose chick. I couldn't stand her when I cut all her hair off. Like, just a little comment like that would have drawn in all that history that they've had over the last couple of years.
And think about it.
No effort.
You brought it up. This time last year, we had Sonya versus Mandy. We had Bayley and Sasha. Like, there was a lot more. Even just last year, they had more for them to do.
Yeah. Let's see. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, I'm going to say something I really don't want to put out there. Oh, boy. Charlotte should win at Backlash. Mainly because with the next 2 pay-per-views, you could stretch out this Charlotte heat to make Rhea an absolute star. Rhea gets screwed by Flair's insertion or a Money in the Bank cash-in from Charlotte next month because of... Wait, you want Charlotte to win Money in the Bank?
Can you imagine the heat? Oh.
Next month because of Sonya inserting Charlotte, and then have Rhea fight Sonya at Extreme Rules to get Sonya out of power and get Charlotte back. Kyle, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
He said you might not like it.
I'm not a fan, but I thank you very much for the 100 bits. He also threw in another 100 bits, said, side note, don't cheap shot your new women's champion and have the cheap shotter get dumped off the ring where Rhea is and not let her get her heat back with a big boot on Charlotte. This is a good story here with Charlotte and Rhea potentially, but stop ignoring the other half's creative. Rhea knows her character based on social and non-scripted characters. Commit and run with it.
Yeah, this felt like to me like they were giving Asuka some heat because she ain't going to win this match. And they want to show that she can stand tall. That's what the end of the segment felt like to me.
Yeah.
So they're not giving Rhea the heat back because they want Asuka to take it for this. So yeah, it's an interesting time in women's wrestling. We'll talk about the other segment, the one other segment the women had on this show a little bit later because it really was not much. Actually, I guess they had
there's something that's going to trigger Nick the F out. We're going to talk about it.
I stand corrected. There were 4 women's segments. It's just only 2 involved wrestling. But speaking of wrestling, we had a match for the U.S. title. Sheamus was out there defending his U.S. championship. I'm still not clear if he's actually defending it in these open challenges or not. I think he is, but then he also says, I don't want to.
They did declare this one that you're referring to as a non-title match.
Okay, then he has been going out and having matches.
Infuriated me even more due to the outcome.
But most of these have been, I believe, non-title matches, or all of them have been. He says, come out, face the champ, but it's just not for my title. You'll have to
just
earn
the one
it by
Humberto Carrillo match that he responded to the open challenge, the very first one, I believe.
Yeah, and then it's just been. Well, anyway, he attacked Humberto Carrillo backstage. Humberto said, I'm used to being bullied. I'm not going to be bullied again. Oh, be a star, WWE. You're bringing it back. Sheamus comes in, beats the crap out of Humberto Carrillo. He's not happy about it. Later on, we see that Mansoor has come to Raw. Manny is finally on Raw. 49 matches he's gone without
52.
losing. He's never lost. Never
52.
lost. The stat they gave was 49. So
they didn't give a stat on the show.
The one I saw online, WWE.com, said 49.
So whether it's 49 or 52, it's a ton. Okay,
he's won a lot of matches.
Not one mention of that,
including a greatest Royal Rumble in there, by the way. So he's been winning a lot. This guy. Yeah. He's coming over to Raw. He's signing with Raw. So you pretty much knew the streak was going to end fairly quickly. Tonight, in fact, he went out to have a match with Sheamus. Straightforward. Manny looked good. He's done a lot of work. He feels like a star. He's got a great babyface aura to him.
Should not have cut his hair, but that's a different topic.
I think he looks fine. Yeah, he looks like a kid you'd bring home to your parents. Very wholesome.
That's true. That's
very
true.
wholesome.
He does have that wholesome look. Doesn't look like a wrestler, but yeah.
Yeah, needs to put on a little bit of beef, but I mean he's still kind of cruiserweighty. But that didn't help him much against Sheamus, who just beat him all around the ring. Although Mansoor did get a couple of big shots in on Sheamus, including a Hurricane DDT that put Sheamus's face into the mat and caused him to busted wide open. Nice little trickle of blood there from Sheamus at the end. When who should run in and interfere but Humberto Carrillo comes out, attacks Sheamus, and causes the DQ, which means that without being pinned, Mansoor's streak is over. Nice.
Not nice.
I loved it. If you're going to
What
have
a wasted opportunity.
What are you talking about?
You've got a pure white meat babyface who's coming in and signing a contract with a 50-0 undefeated streak, and you just flush it down the toilet.
It had to go sometime. It had to go sometime.
But you're going to drop it to Sheamus in a non-title match?
It was
over
a DQ finish. You can still say he's never been pinned, but you don't have the streak hanging over his head. WWE,
that's storyline, and they just flushed it down the toilet.
Oh no, I like them coming in and getting it out of the way right off the bat. I can see why people be frustrated with it, but I also know why they did it, so they didn't have it hanging over his head and have it. I think it's more likely that this was the right way to end the streak than any other way that they were likely to come up with for Mansoor. At least this way he can say it wasn't my fault that my streak's on, or people, his fans can say that. So, because again, Mansoor represents something. He represents the entire Kingdom of Saudi Arabia market for WWE. So they don't want to have him actually eat a pin to lose the streak. This way, people, the hometown fans, can see this and be like, he was screwed, and they still cheer for the guy. I thought it was a good finish to get. I thought it was a nice way out of the streak.
Yeah. Agree to disagree on that one.
All
I want the streak. I like streaks because you know what we're desperate for on Monday Night Raw? Storylines.
Yes. And now you have one. Now Manny can be mad at Humberto Carrillo for costing him his streak on paper. You can have both of them be mad at Sheamus for being Sheamus.
If this ends up with Mansoor versus Humberto Carrillo, you've got my attention.
Yeah, it looks like it might. They might. Now Mansoor's got a reason to be mad at Humberto. That's what I'm saying. Now this is getting more intriguing, and I'm loving it because Sheamus is now working with guys with talent that is underutilized. Y'all know I love Humberto. I think he's underutilized. Manny's coming in. He very easily could fade into main eventdom, which he probably will be
down there fighting Ricochet soon.
Ricochet and Ali will be having Manny join them in about a month or so.
Because the two things he had, one being from Saudi Arabia and two having a 50-0 undefeated streak. Gone.
Well, now he can have.
Now
he
what
can
are you
still
going to
be
do
from
with
Saudi Arabia and have a beef with Sheamus and possibly get over using that. Have him get over for something else other than a streak. Because if you only have him over for a streak and he loses the streak, what's he got? Nothing. Now you got to give him something. So,
all right.
I thought this was good.
We'll see. My bet's on him being down on main event within 2 months.
Yeah, frankly, me too, but. We'll see. We'll see. I like the fact that they're giving there's so many chances to Humberto here makes me hopeful.
Yeah.
Makes me hopeful, but hopes and WWE go together about as well as cows and chainsaws. So how are we doing over in the chat there? We all caught up?
We're good. I think we are. Guys, I apologize. The systems are really laggy tonight from Twitch, so the updates aren't coming through as much. But I'm keeping an eye on chat, so that seems to be working.
Everything's pretty laggy. I'm laggy. You're laggy. Chat's laggy. It's a laggy kind of day, which means we're going to have to hurry through the rest of Raw here. We'll talk about all the rest here. RK Bro is back after their match with New Day. New Day was nursing their wounds backstage. Jackson, Riker, and Elias, like a couple of merry little pranksters, thought it'd be funny to get back at them for last week for throwing tomatoes at them. So they got a whole bunch of tomatoes themselves, started hucking them at New Day, except who should walk by as they're hucking tomatoes but Randy Orton. And Randy Orton eats a face full of tomatoes, and Jackson, Riker, and Elias run away like scalded dogs. Oh, shit, it's Randy Orton.
That's funny.
It was funny as hell, them whipping tomatoes, and then the look of horror on their face as the camera turns around, and Randy Orton's there covered in tomatoes going, now you gonna die.
You'd think they just hit Brock Lesnar or something.
I loved it. I
love this kind of the way that's a level of respect and like admiration that you're displaying for Randy Orton there. I love that. That comes through the screen.
Oh, it was great. What was that? What was the episode of Chappelle's show? Where Chappelle rolls up. What's his name? The guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Had his own.
Drew Carey?
No.
Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady. Oh shit! It's Wayne Brady.
Yeah. Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
That's what It felt like that, where they just put. Oh shit! It's Randy Orton.
Yeah, right.
It just ran off. So Randy's seething, and later on we see Riddle rolling through the hallways and being cute with the Viking Raiders, asking them if they wanted the Raiders or the Vikings to get better picks in the NFL draft. Cute. He rolls up to Randy, who's pacing and pissed off, and says, "Hey, bro." And Randy says, "I'm not your bro." And Riddle goes, "I know you're not my bro. We're not from the same parents." Starts rattling off. Randy shuts him up with a look, Nick, and I swear to God, I cackled for 3 minutes at the look on Riddle's face when Randy shut him up. And Randy, again, agonizing over it, but says, damn it, okay, so we've won one. I really hate Jackson Riker and Elias right now. Let's go have a match. And Riddle goes, hey, I'm so happy. I'm gonna get out my snakeskin Speedos. It's gonna be great. Randy Orton stops him, makes a sign like zip up your mouth, and Riddle does it and then locks it at the end. And Randy Orton holds out his hand and Riddle gives him the fake key. I was on the floor for this, Nick. This was physical comedy, such subtle, beautiful, amazing physical comedy. This kind of shit you just don't see enough of in WWE. It was genuinely funny. It was adorable. It's the kind of thing that could be really dumb, but these guys knocked it out of the goddamn park.
It was brilliant. Brilliant.
Oh my God, it was funny.
Little 2-minute, comedy sketches backstage, pre-recorded stuff. Who knows how they filmed this, but I mean, it was fantastic.
Odd couple stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a side of Randy Orton we just never get to see enough of. I'm loving him as the straight man to Riddle. I know it's a repeat of Pete Dunne and Riddle in NXT, but you know what? God damn it, I didn't want that to work, and it worked. This is better. This is funnier. They went out and destroyed Elias and Riker. Riker is freakishly strong, dude. He pulls up some strength moves in this that were just disgusting.
Yeah, have you seen him get into a pair of trousers?
No, the trousers scream every time he puts them on. Oh,
it's like Lou Ferrigno just bursting out of the pants as he's turning into the Hulk, right?
Yeah, his quads have quads.
Right.
Dear God, the man's a six-wheeler. Doesn't even have 4 wheels. It's insane. Anyway, but yeah, so they win this match, and Riddle's all happy because they won again, and Randy Orton can't believe he's still with this guy. I love this. RKO Bro is my favorite thing on Raw. Full stop. Full stop. Also a fan of Miz and Morrison together. We had a nice little bit where Miz was complaining again about Damian Priest, humiliating him last week. So this week, Johnny Drip Drip is going to have to give Damian Priest what for. Interesting that Morrison kept trying to butt in and be like, tell him about me, and Miz kept ignoring him. Also, Miz cost Morrison the match after a very fun little match between the two of them. Morrison gets a roll-up on Priest because Miz is distracting the ref. The ref doesn't see it, gets over there too late. Priest kicks out and then gives a finisher to Morrison to get the win. Hit the lights.
Hit the lights now instead of reckoning.
Yeah.
Which is the Crossroads, which is
whatever.
Reverse Sister Abigail, which is it's all the same.
It's
move.
Fine. It's a cool look. He makes it look good.
It looks great.
And Morrison sells like death.
Yeah.
Because Morrison is amazing.
But have they also renamed Starship Pain to something else?
Yeah, Parkway Drive or LA, not Parkway Drive.
Parkway Drive.
Sunset Beach, I think, Sunset Drive, something like that. But yeah, so here we are. It looks like Miz and Morrison are on the breakup trail, Nick. Uh-oh. What do you think? Morrison and Miz split up. What happened?
I'm fine with that. New blood. I'm tired of the same Miz TV segment for every week since WrestleMania.
Morrison ended up on
Which it's only been 3 weeks, and it feels like it's been 3 months.
Morrison on main event. Morrison title picture. What do you think? Turn face, stay heel. What do you think?
Oh, man. Turn face, send him up against Sheamus for the United States Championship?
Yes, please. Done. Sold. Or send him to main event and have a Prince Puma and Johnny Mundo rematch.
I mean,
either way.
To Sheriff McDonald's point earlier, main event's been a lot better than Raw has in recent weeks.
Main event's been killing it.
It's awesome.
No one's watching it. It's been great. It's the new 205 Live.
Yeah.
Literally, because they send all their light guys down there because Vince hates little guys.
Yep.
Oh, man. Cedric and Shelton are no more. They're not a tag team. They had a match at Lucha House Party and lost. Shelton, Benjamin got pinned by Grand Metalik, and Cedric was not happy about it. Nick, Cedric cut a goddamn fire promo on Shelton, saying, you're done. Your career is over. You dragged me down. I should have dumped your ass a long time ago. You're the reason why we're not in the hurt business anymore. This team is done just like your career.
It also sounded like Cedric's voice was finally changing. Like, was his balls finally dropping?
It did sound like he was a little raspy there.
Yeah.
But it sounded good. It sounded like a wrestling voice.
Yeah, it did. I was like, the voice doesn't match the body kind of thing. It's
Well, always before.
I don't know. I've never heard that voice come out of that mouth before.
No. Yeah,
like it.
Cedric found some beef.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah, man.
That was one of the best things Cedric's done since he was together in the Hurt Business and they were kicking ass and they were champs. Yeah. Like Cedric was fire here. So I hope the brass sees that and goes, okay, let's push Cedric, because you know what? It worked for Apollo. Push Cedric. Don't make him Nigerian or nothing, but like, you know, maybe give him some sort of gimmick he can run with here. Maybe definitely don't make him Nigerian.
He can be South African. Yeah.
He's
actually a British transplant that lives in Johannesburg now.
He's the Somalian superstar.
Oh, no.
He's the Tanzanian terror.
I watched Captain Phillips over the weekend again, by the way, and that's hits home in a different kind of way that I don't even want to talk about. Yeah.
Cedric the Pirate.
He's a Somali pirate.
Somali pirate. That's what they're going to do to him. You've got a Nigerian warlord over on SmackDown, and you're going to have a Somali pirate on Raw. Cedric's going to come out and be like, I am the captain now. You no talk. I am the captain now. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me, Shelton. I am the captain now.
He just starts calling him Irish for no reason.
Oh, it hurts.
Tom Hanks' character told him he was Irish in the movie, Yankee Irish.
God. Oh,
and
no.
he kept calling him Irish the whole rest of the film. If Vince sat down and watched Captain Phillips and just has that idea, like, no, no, please don't do that.
It's Cedric's like if you fed that guy from Captain Phillips. Oh my God.
He just comes out with a movie prop, AK-47. Is that too much?
It's a little much.
It's a bit much, right?
He just comes out with a brown spear instead of a silver spear. Yeah, that's all. It's Vince's booking.
I don't. Oh God, I feel bad.
What kind of weapons do Somali pirates have, pal?
AKs,
give us.
Kalashnikovs.
Yeah, Kalashnikovs.
That sounds good. What kind of weapon is that?
Give him a bow and arrow. Have fun with that, pal. Jesus. All right, we got talk about.
Please don't make Cedric a Somali pirate.
Oh
Vince.
no, don't.
No, please.
God,
please don't do that.
Nia, let's stop laughing. But Nia and Shayna.
Ow.
There we go. I'm hurting Nick. I'm physically assaulting Nick with my words. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Okay, this is going to make us serious again. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler had a tag match against Naomi and Lana.
Oh, imagine that.
It was a straight-up match, Nick. There was a finish. Reggie caused a distraction. And Shayna Kirifuda clutched to Lana. That was it. It was a match. No other shenanigans. It's just straight up. Cool.
I'm sorry I'm distracted. I honestly don't know who it is. Thank you for being a sub. There's somebody in the chat named Lance Thunder. That is the most amazing name I've ever seen come into our chat. It hurts so bad.
I mean,
ow! For those of you just joining the show, I'm having a really bad back day today.
Why do I laugh so hard when you're in pain?
I don't know.
That's not a good thing. Naomi says, no more Mr. Nice Girl, or something to that effect after this match. So do you think that they're going to have more of an attitude, or is this just words?
Oh, God.
And words are wind?
I don't know how to even pretend to care about the women's tag team matches anymore. It just feels so silly. Like there was even an opportunity here for Lana to get a sneaky win. And again, we had a distraction. And again, Shayna wraps her up in this Kirifuda clutch and it's out, you know?
After all of the losing that Shayna and Nia have been doing, thank God they got as straight up a win as you could possibly get. Yeah, Reggie interfered, but they got a damn win.
Shayna didn't get rolled up again this week. Thank for that.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I know they have history with Lana and Naomi. They pretty much have forgotten about that. No shock there, but they needed a damn win. So I'll take it. You know who else needed a win? Angel Garza. They did something with Angel Garza this week that I did not see coming. First of all, he's been busy flirting with Nia Jax, so I thought they were going with that. Apparently they're not, because we're following him as he's walking around the back hallway with a rose in his hand, as he just seems to do. And he passes Gabagulak, who's back there going, you call yourself a ladies' man, you can't even hook up with Nia Jax. What's the rose for, Lothario? Angel Garza goes, You know, how about we have a match later, dude? Angel Garza goes, cool, yeah, let's have that match, and they'll stick this rose right up your ass.
Hey,
whoa,
hey,
there,
Angel Garza, we've been wrong about you. We
fierce.
thought between all of the Lothario going on that, you were trying to hand flowers, hit on all the ladies backstage, bringing on a D-list contestant from The Bachelor, like all of this stuff that you've been up to. You're actually into butt stuff. So, we had it wrong this whole time.
You're a dirty boy.
I know. I mean,
hey,
to each
by the
their
way,
own, right?
There's nothing wrong with men-on-man butt stuff.
I'm not saying there was anything wrong with it. I was just, it caught me off guard, you know?
It's just Gulak was unwilling because Angel Garza was a man of his word, and after beating Drew Gulak, he got fired up in this match. Gulak kept messing with him. He got fired up. He got pissed off. Wing clipper to Gulak. Gulak loses 1, 2, 3. He grabs the rose. Garza goes and grabs the rose, shoves it down the back of Gulak's pants, and kicks him in the ass.
That thing's got thorns on him. Ow!
That's what Adnan said. Every rose has its thorn. Thank you, Adnan.
Oh, God.
By way of Brett Michaels.
Every rose has its thorn, just so you know. A good song by Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses.
Brett.
Oh, no, wait, that was Poison.
I like it better that Adnan doesn't know who actually did that song. I like that better.
Yeah,
that's my favorite song by Guns N' Roses. Just like every night has its dawn, just like every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. And now a commercial. Angel Garza was a man of his word. He shoved a rose up a man's ass. That is bizarre, creative, and I'm here for it. I don't know who had the idea for this. That was fun as hell. I laughed my ass off. I'm like, oh shit, man. People pissed off Angel Garza, and he straight shoved a rose up a man's ass. I did not tune into Raw expecting that.
No.
Which is why I want to say that.
I do not turn into Raw expecting butt stuff. It caught me off guard. There's absolutely, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's in
the peachy era,
it's creative.
It was very creative.
I mean, that's innovative booking, you could say.
Yeah, I guess someone backstage has been studying Robert Mapplethorpe, and they just suddenly had an idea.
I don't understand that reference.
That's okay. Someone out there, I hope, will. Just Google him.
Okay.
Anyway, the bottom line is that I thought this was a great example of a bit of quote unquote edgier content mixed with a bit of humor and a bit of good character work.
Was this in the third hour at least?
Yes, it was in the third hour.
All right, so it was past that 10 o'clock mark. Okay.
Kids had gone to bed.
Kids are in bed on Monday night at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do what you see on TV.
If they're not, put your kids to bed.
Yeah. Don't stomp people like Seth Rollins, and don't shove roses up men's ass unless they ask you to, and it's a consensual situation.
Consensual ass rosing.
Yes, which this was most obviously not.
Yeah.
Also, throughout the entire show, we saw Lily pop up in the background. When Adam Pearce was yelling at Sonya Deville, she was back there. She popped up all over the place, and Alexa referenced that. In her little segment, she said, oh, Lily's been running around. She actually has her eye on somebody, and don't blame me for what happens. This was actually, Nick, I thought it was a retread of what we've been seeing from Alexa the last few weeks, but the ending and the way that Alexa was singing to Lily and then, had this weird, almost insane back and forth between, don't be mad at me for what I'm about to do. It was genuinely creepy. I liked it. It didn't reinvent the wheel. It didn't do anything terribly new. But you know what it was? It was effective. It was what did we say earlier? It's if you execute it properly.
Yeah.
This was one of these segments executed properly. I'm waiting for her to actually do something. But
yeah, I think we all are.
I would like it better if she actually did something. But at least if you're going to do one of these segments, this was not the worst they could do.
We've been speculating for what feels like 9 months now about that they were going to try and twist Alexa Bliss into being the Fiend of the women's division, air quotes, right? So how they actually bring this about is going to be interesting to see. If it is Sonya, is it Sonya Deville that Lily's targeting? Is it Adam Pearce? Right? Is it the leadership within WWE?
As long as it's not Nikki Cross. If they bring Nikki out just to die to Alexa again, I will be the one who is cross.
Yeah. Kyle, I got some other thoughts on that, but I want to make sure I catch up on this one. Kyle 100 bits said, this Angel Garza stuff got a negative reaction on Twitter, and I have no idea why. To me, anytime someone says I'm going to do something and does it is always a positive for me.
Yeah.
To me, I will remember a segment like this with Garza more than any other, almost any match. Just like with Eddie, I will remember the silly shenanigans, Viva la Raza, more than most of his matches. This was great and was part of a string of creative on Raw that was strangely like 2019 205 Live for a stretch.
And honestly, I can see why this might not be some people's cup of tea. I get it. Like you want things to be a little bit more straightforward. But Kyle's right here about one thing. This was memorable because it was unique, because it was something we haven't seen, because it was something where a character said something that sounded extreme and then did it. And that worked for me. I loved the fact that he followed through on his seemingly outlandish threat.
I never saw him beating Drew Gulak, but I'm glad they did it the way they did it.
Same. I was very sports entertained, and that's all I ask for from WWE. I don't expect to get world-class 6-star Tokyo Dome matches. I expect to be sports entertained. I was sports entertained by this.
Yeah, totally.
So, got anything more to say about Alexa, sir, or shall we go to the thing that I think you've been dreading the entire show?
Yeah, I'm trying to stall so we don't have to go talk about that because I'm going to be hot.
Okay.
The Alexa thing, I'm not as optimistic as you are and saying it was that good. I think the singing of the poem, I think would have done better as a social media post. Maybe a YouTube teaser of some sort, WWE.com exclusive.
Dude, they've got 3 hours on Raw. This is going to end up being that.
But I want to see the thing that she's talking about doing on Raw, not the tease of the thing that she's thinking about doing.
They got to fill time. This was another women's segment. They had to get their quota.
It was just more treading water, and I'm tired of treading water with this shit. Shit or get off the pot, as my old man used to say. Right? Do something. Do something.
What were you like I don't know. Did you have problems? Did you like drink too much Pepto-Bismol and you were kind of like backed up, and that's where you're just on the pot a lot? Like, you know,
no, I mean, I'm that guy that comes out of the bathroom crippled because I've been sat there for 45 minutes looking at memes. Right? That's me.
So you're saying your dad had a reason?
I mean, he's like,
kick
hurry
you out
up
of
in there.
This is my safe space, Dad. I don't want to leave.
That's my sanctuary in here, right? That's why do you think they call it the throne?
Oh my goodness. Well, Nick, it's time.
TMI? Anyone? No. This is arguably
definitely
more entertaining than what we're getting ready to talk about. So
no, it's not. Actually, I'm going to be very entertained by your reaction to the news that Eva Marie is coming back. We saw a segment or like a teaser with her posing on the hood of a Ferrari, all red everything, and now has pink hair. And God forbid they start calling her all pink everything, because that might not fly in the PG era either. But yeah, we've known she's been back with the company for a few months now. Did no idea what she was going to be there for. She does have a big social media presence, so I'm not surprised they would want to cash in on that. But Nick, what are your thoughts about the potential return of Eva Marie? You should get prepared over there.
Wet the throat here a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me get this straight. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna break up arguably what was one of the hottest women's tag teams, or one of the most real ones, and we're gonna split them up, and then we're gonna put them in new tag teams, and then we're gonna just forego that and completely fire both of them. We're gonna let go of one of my favorite wrestlers in Samoa Joe across multiple promotions, and somebody who had a very bright future on commentary. And then we're going to bring back someone who flamed out harder maybe than anybody in the history of WWE in Eva Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all but gave up multiple times, proved that she didn't have it. The only thing that she has is her beauty. And they tried to milk that, and even that didn't get over. That didn't work. She got go-away heat. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at her. Put her on the Total Divas show, built up her, they're the ones that helped build up her social media presence. Let's be clear about that. She doesn't have this huge social media presence. She has it because of them.
Well, and
they worked on her for years.
She's been doing fitness stuff ever since. But she definitely
I understand that, right? And her dude's really into fitness. Tank. So I understand all that. Yeah. But there's part of me, there's the business side of me that looks at that as an investment. There's part of me that looks at Eva Marie as we've invested so much into that. Let's rehab it and let's give it one more shot. Because if you've got somebody that is extremely talented in a particular area but falling down in certain others, You kind of put them on a program, right? You coach them. You help them get better at these other things. And to her credit, she did go to the Performance Center and work out. She has put in some work. Do I want to see her debuted in a 2009 Throwback Divas segment? Sitting in 6-inch heels on top of a beautiful Ferrari? No. No. This is... we're wrestling now in the women's division, okay?
But I guess, Nick, that's kind of my question is this a sign of what are they turning the women's division in this direction? Like, is this the direction that they want to go with the women's division? You know, you fire a bunch of women who you can't find time for, they just couldn't, we couldn't find time for them. We had nothing for them creatively. Chelsea Green, she's in Vince's office, outside of Vince's office every day, trying to get a meeting with him. They got nothing for her. The Iconics, they got nothing for them. Mickie James, certified legend, nothing for her. But we can find time for Eva Marie. It shows you what the priorities are. I mean, and fine,
we wonder why they only get 4 minutes on average on a 3-hour show, weekly show.
Right. And that's all it is. To me, it's neither good nor bad.
No.
It's just telling.
Yeah.
It's very telling to me. And fine, it's from a business standpoint, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. I just don't have to respect it.
No.
So, but that was Raw, ladies and gentlemen. I got to say, at the end of it, more good than bad. I was actually entertained by Raw this week, which I can't say for the last few months. Certainly could be better, but certainly has been worse, Nick. Any final thoughts before we head on over?
Yeah, and then we got to do one from Kyle.
Yeah, sure.
It has not been good since WrestleMania. It has found a new low that I did not know it could achieve. So to say week to week, it was watchable this week. Like they've not found their rhythm. They're regurgitating the same stuff they've been regurgitating for what feels like 6 months.
Yeah.
And it tastes like, if it smells like vomit and it tastes like vomit, it must be vomit. You're eating a meal and puking it right back up and eating the same thing and puking it right back up. Oh my
God.
I'm being graphic for a reason because that's what it feels like. That's what watching Raw is like for me.
Oh man.
I don't enjoy it. And it's what I went on about last week. I'm not going to regurgitate all that again, but for you guys that weren't here, it was rough for me last week. For a first time in a long, long time, I am struggling to get through 3 hours of Raw every Monday night.
And maybe that's why, I mean, because my expectations are so low, because I've kind of been feeling so beaten down by Raw lately that this one actually felt like they had a bunch of bright spots. I agree. The rhythm is still completely off.
Yeah.
The main event is boring. But you know what? From moment to moment, segment to segment, there was a lot of little things that I liked on this Raw. There was a lot of stuff that they actually executed well. Maybe it was the performers, maybe it was creative. Whatever it was, there was stuff on here that I was executed well, that I liked, that was entertaining to me. It was not a quote-unquote good Raw. I wouldn't give it above a B. Maybe B minus maybe. But it still wasn't a D, and it's been in the Ds and Fs lately. At worst,
it
this
gets
was
a D
C,
just
C+.
for letting Eva Marie stand in heels on a hood of a Ferrari.
Well,
That's heresy. You just don't do that. I don't care how hot you are and how tight that black leather dress is. Kyle Cotton threw in 100 bits, said, Eva Marie's vignette made me hungry. And I do know why, because it looks like a Carl's Jr. ad. That's a good point.
All she needs is a big sloppy burger. And it's
barbecue sauce just pouring down all over her dress. And
it's literally the Paris Hilton Carl's Jr. ad.
Yeah, the Kim Kardashian one. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Personally, I'm willing to give it a chance because she could have improved. And that's what I was saying. Like, they've invested. And I'm going to give it an honest college shot, and we'll see. But it's going to be a very quick, nope, ain't going to work.
Maybe she's improved, and maybe there will be a pig that flies on Raw next week as
Exactly.
well. But, we'll see.
Also, look, I'm not going to do that. Never mind. Also, I'm not going the route of getting mad at her because of the company's releases. It's not fair to her. No, it's not fair to her. You know what it's not fair to either? Us as fans.
Hey, man, there's people out there who love Eva Marie, and it's fair to them.
Cool. Go Semper tweet some more. Get off my wrestling show.
Nick, man, that back is killing you, and you're all pissed off today. I love it.
It's feeling better. Esther brought me some stuff earlier in the show. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
is that what the shift was? I wondered why you shifted partway through the show from being cranky to being very excited about bus stuff. Okay, now we know.
Yeah.
Well, that was Raw, ladies and gentlemen. We got one more thing to talk about before we head out of here, and of course, that takes us across the Pacific Ocean to New Japan.
Wrestling Dantaku.
Yeah.
It's almost like a palate cleanse of what we've had to talk about for the last hour.
Which is funny considering a lot of people are really salty at New Japan's booking lately. And it has been a little bit questionable. I have to admit, there's been decisions made where I go, huh? Why would you what? The tag division over there is still a disgrace. They're having weird comedy matches out of nowhere. Dick Togo and Evil are a complete failure. But there is some good stuff, and we did have a couple of absolutely amazing matches this weekend.
I believe you called one of them a match of the year contender.
Absolutely, hands down. Night one, it was basically a 2-match weekend, though. Unfortunately, there were some other things that went on, but really, you come for 2 matches. You come for Jay White versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the never open weight belt. You come for especially Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi for the United Heavyweight Championship of New Japan of the IWGP. And the rest was just a bunch of tag matches. It also didn't help that they're supposed to be building stuff for the New Japan. Let's see. They're building
Strong
stuff
coming.
Well, no, not for Strong. They are where did I put my notes? Wrestling Grand Slam was going to be on May 15th.
What is that?
Wrestling. It's another big show. They have Grand Slam on the 15th and Grand Slam again in the Tokyo Dome on May 29th. And then a mere, I believe, 7 days later, you got Dominion on June 6th. So they got a bunch of big shows coming up. These shows are supposed to be setting up the big programs for that. Unfortunately, on night 2, we had a bunch of major wrestlers out, and so they couldn't build some of those mid-card programs. Kazuchika Okada, Minoru Suzuki, El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Sho, and Yo were all out under COVID protocols. One of them apparently is actually running a high-grade fever, and they're doing blood tests on him. So not good, and they had to reshuffle the deck on night 2. But night 1, we had a couple of big matches. Zack Sabre Jr. beat one half of the tag champs in Tonga Loa. And then there was the second ever ladder match in New Japan, Taichi versus Tama Tonga for the possession of the Iron Fingers from Hell. Iizuka's old, the glove thing, Nick.
Yeah.
That was hung above the ring, and they were fighting each other to try to get it. It was actually a pretty fun match, a nice brutal finish with Tama Tonga going through a table off the ladder. So good stuff. But yeah, Taichi's got his little glove back. We'll see if that continues to drive him insane. One can only hope. And then, of course, the main event of night 1, the never openweight championship match, Jay White versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Another fantastic. These guys put on great matches.
Yeah. These two are not going to put on a bad match.
No. And they did not. It was a great match with Jay White slowly breaking down Tanahashi. Tanahashi having Jay beaten. Jay's tapping out to Tanahashi. Gato pulls the ref. Ref doesn't see the tap out. Jay is able to reverse into a Blade Runner and take the win from Tanahashi. Takes the belt from Tanahashi and then runs his mouth on him and has a rematch in a tag match the next night with Tanahashi just not being terribly happy about Jay White, disrespecting him and saying that his career is over. Jay White also after the match said, I am the real belt collector. I've now had every singles title in New Japan. I'm the real belt collector. Anyone else wants to claim the title, you know where to find me. In this, hearing that in the same week that Jericho floated the idea of AEW in New Japan, once everything opens up again, having a main event, Kenny Omega and Jericho teaming up to face off against Okada and Ibushi. Jericho's words, you got me salivating here, guys. Jericho straight up said it's only a matter of time before we see Okada in AEW. Just nipples out.
Thump.
Nipples out, Nick.
Guys, I'm going to say it until it happens. I'm going to manifest it into existence. The coin drop.
The coin drop.
The coin drop on Dynamite we are all going to collectively lose our minds, and there will be that sort of explosion of cheers from Florida that you will just not be able to. You'll be able to hear it around the world.
The pop is going to be immense. I hope they save it
what
for
was
a
it?
full crowd.
That bar shot when Okada brought the old gear back out, right? Where the crowd just goes crazy when he opened his coat.
Yeah, it was a fake
The
shot.
coin drop happens on Dynamite, and that's going to happen again around the world on a regular weekly television show.
All the marks.
Oh,
the
God.
marks' heads will explode, and I'll be one of them. Night 2 of our little show here, Wrestling Dontaku, had to be shifted around. We were originally supposed to have Kazuchika Okada and Sho versus Minoru Suzuki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Obviously, a lot of them were gone, so they had to pull Yujiro Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori and Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Master Wato from a later on tag match and put them second on the card on this show. You also had Great Okan, Jeff Cobb, and Hinare beating Naito, Sanada, and Bushi, Los Ingobernables fall to the United Empire in the middle of the show, setting up some stuff there, also setting up the main event of the night. You had Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, and Ryusuke Taguchi beating Jay White, Evil, and Dick Togo in what was unsurprisingly a absolute cluster of a match, including a spot, Nick, that reminded me of PWG, where you had them all grab each other's hair one after another and all kind of be holding each other's hair. And then finally, you've got Taguchi going to grab Dick Togo's hair and realizes Togo has no hair, can't get a grip on him, so he just hits him with his butt. And then they all fall over. Ridiculous.
Yay.
But good stuff. But the real reason to watch this show, of course, was Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi. It's been one of the greatest rivalries of the last few years. They have had nonstop classic matches. All of their matches so far have been classics. New Japan Cup finals from this year, Best of Super Juniors from 2018. This was, Nick, I would say, if not better than Best of Super Juniors, on the same level. It was that good. It was ridiculous.
My God.
Ridiculous. The highest level of wrestling you're going to see in the world. Full stop.
I've seen night 1. I haven't seen night 2 yet.
You've got
night
to
2
watch.
was Sunday night or Saturday morning, I guess, technically. For
Yeah,
us.
right. Exactly. This match was stupid.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to go watch that tonight while I'm editing this.
However, unsurprisingly, Ospreay did pull out the win again. He's 3-0 against Shingo, and I'm wondering when he finally. I'm hoping that it's a big deal when he finally drops one to Shingo. It's also going to be a big deal his next match because he called out Okada. Ospreay's going to face Okada in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestling Grand Slam on the 29th. So Ospreay doing some big things. Love him or hate him as champ, he's doing some big things and having some fantastic matches.
I want to give a shout out too to our boy Jeff Cobb. What a streak he's been on, and he's getting Ibushi at Wrestling Grand Slam as well. I mean, he's doing some work.
It's looking that way. We only suspect that because in the match against Los Ingobernables, he did a Kamagoye right before he did the tour of the island to finish. So he's been mocking Ibushi's finishing moves. So that's why I suspect he's going to be going for him.
Nice.
So we shall see. One last bit of New Japan news. We didn't cover this last week, unfortunately, but the New Japan Strong tournament did finish up. The finals were Brody King versus the filthy Tom Lawler. And I'm happy to say, Nick, that first of all, it was a knockdown, drag-out, brutal beat-down of a match, as you'd expect. Lawler doing all his MMA stuff and Brody just being an absolute beast and being impossible to take out until the end when Tom Lawler took him out. And Tom Lawler is your inaugural New Japan Strong champion, the newest belt from New Japan.
I would not have called that.
I'm not surprised by it.
I'm not surprised. It's not what I would have called, and I'm happy for Tom.
I am too. And I think Brody it's just that he's just still kind of early in his career, relatively speaking. And Lawler's been around a little longer. He's got a bit more prestige to his name.
Yeah.
I think this is a good accolade for him. And I think he's also a guy that if they're trying to build a kind of like a crossover MMA strong style brand, which it seems like they're doing a little bit of cruiserweight, a little bit of junior heavyweight, but then a lot of
this is the
like
stuff they're doing in the States here too, right? This is stateside. So I think it might have to do with building a stateside presence.
That too. So I think Tom
having
Lawler's
Brody King and Filthy Tom Lawler at the top of that. Yeah, that's good. That's good
Lawler's
booking.
one of those. Yeah, he's one of those guys like Thatcher that just feels very legitimate in the ring.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great choice.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to him. We got to do any catching up,
yeah,
sir?
we do. First, I got to go back to Raw, unfortunately, for 1 second. Kyle's running 100 bits there right at the end. Said Raw this week was like the Bart Simpson moment where he got a string of Fs from not trying, and this was him trying and getting a C+. So maybe it just seems good by comparison. Talking about Raw. Yeah.
I'll take it. Having to watch Raw every week, I will take it.
But he wasn't done. He is dead set on getting us to that 100 sub goal marker. Threw in 5 more gifted tier 1 subs.
Kyle, you animal.
Kyle, you are a madman. We love you for it. Devon Lewis, data center dude, it got me. Clapman 1990, Goblin God 82, Bath and Body Works. Wow, we have retail membership here in the chat now.
If they listen too, I'll take a new pillow.
Yeah, I mean, I can I get some cucumber melon? Or that's the good stuff.
Little face scrub.
Little body lotion for at night. You know, I'm ashy. I get ashy at times. You know,
you look like an ashy guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Kyle, thank you so much for all the gifted subs and your drive to get us to 100. I really appreciate that. If you got a gifted sub from Kyle Cotton, make sure you send him a thank you. All the way across it. Now, thank you, Kyle, for all these gifted subs over the last few weeks, man. Really, really appreciate it. But that's it, guys. That's it for New Japan. That's it for Raw. But we got one thing left to do before we head over and do our patron mailbag. We've got to do what we like to call our moment of positivity. Mop, 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 mop.
The mop, the moment of positivity. That's right. It's the time on the show where Nick and I think about something good that happened over the last few days, and we try to share it so that we can bring some happiness and joy to the end of the show. Any negativity that we have being forgotten and blown out the window by all this positivity that we bring to you so that you can go back out into the world after our show with a smile on your face. Nick, what was your moment of positivity?
I am torn between two things. One of them, which is infantile and adolescent of me.
What has that stopped you before?
The other is a thing that is very pure and of someone that I want to see do well, and I'm torn between the two. I'm going to go with the infantile, childish one.
Attaboy.
Angel Garza sticking a rose up, doing butt stuff with Drew Gulak. He literally shined that sumbitch up real nice, turned it sideways, and stuck it straight up his candy ass.
You know, all those times that The Rock said he was going to do that with his size 17 boot, he never did it.
No.
Angel Garza, first time threatening shoving something up a man's ass, and he did it.
Yeah. Luckily, it was a rose. It is cable television, you know.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was just a rose.
Now, the question is, a rose by any other name, would it still smell as sweet up Gulak's butt?
Gives new meaning to the word rosebud.
Rosebud. Good times. Infantile, but good.
How about you, Surrey and Dangerous? What was your moment of positivity?
You know, I want to cheat. I want to cheat and have it be RK Bro again. But I did that last week.
You totally can.
You know what? No, I've got it. Because as much as I could make it RK Bro again, because once again, I was cackling my head off. Once again, I was crying, literal tears. I was laughing so hard at the two of them. But, sorry, Nick, don't get excited by me saying that. But I'm going to say Cedric Alexander's promo. That shit was hot fire. It got me fired up. I'm like, yeah, dude. Get mad at it. I loved it. I loved seeing the fire. He spoke extremely clearly. There was no stumbling. There was no bumbling. It was 11. I loved it. Great promo, great fire. It actually, Nick, it brought hope to me in a situation that up until now, from the last few weeks, has been hopeless. And that is Cedric and Shelton. Seeing him do that promo, it gave me hope. And there's nothing more positive than that.
See, I thought you would have picked Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi.
I'm trying. You know, here's the thing. That's also low-hanging fruit.
That's true.
I'm trying to get to as we were saying, like I'm trying to pick the flecks of gold out of the turd.
My other one that I'll throw an honorable mention to was Mansoor finally getting a Raw contract.
Yeah. Mansoor on the big brand.
Genuinely happy for Mansoor. Has been doing really good stuff. I mean, I am over the moon pissed that they just threw that 50-0 streak away.
Oh, come on.
Without at least making it a couple weeks of television out of it. Everybody's gunning for him because he's undefeated. And he's walking around, not bragging about it, but he's kind of high on it because he's been doing there's just I'm being positive here. But that's something that
Charlotte's still hanging her hat on beating Asuka's streak, and that one still stings. I'm glad they just let this streak go away. And they had an elegant way of letting it go without it being a big deal and having him look less by being finally beaten. I think they did it elegantly.
Jesse O'Connor threw in a 200 bits. Thank you, Jesse. Said, did Ian really have Raw as his mop for 2 weeks in a row?
I'm trying, Jesse. I'm trying. It's work, but you know what? I'm doing it.
Indeed.
I'm doing the work.
Well, there you go, guys. There's our mops. We're not done for the night. We are going to be doing our AMA show patron mailbag right after this, answering questions from our patrons for the next hour or so right here. So we're not going to stop the stream. What we are going to do is do the outro real quick. We're going to take a 10-minute break, let everybody take a bio, grab a fresh drink, all that good stuff, stretch your legs, get some blood flowing. But come back and join us because these are a lot of fun. It's literally our favorite thing to do every single week is answer questions from our patrons. If you'd like to get yours in, you can head over to patreon.com/BWO. All you got to be in is that $5 tier, and every week you can send in a question that we will answer here on the Tuesday show. So you can also get bonus episodes, all kinds of good stuff, and it's the best way to support the show, along with the bits and subs here on Twitch, super chats over on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? We see you guys over there. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Same thing to you guys. Hang tight. We'll be right back in about 10 minutes after we get done here doing the AMA patron mailbag. Let's see. Linktree.com/BWO is where you find all the links to all the things. Head over there, like, share, subscribe. Do all the things you guys know how to do. Tell your friends, family, all that good stuff about Busted Wide Open. Make sure you subscribe and hit all the follows and get those notifications turned on because it helps the metrics. It really does. And we thank you guys for it. Another big shout out to Kyle and I believe Uncle Greg at the top of the show. All you guys with all the bits. Thank you guys so much for throwing everything in.
Seriously.
We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Let's call it quarter till.
Yeah.
Quarter till. All right. Depending on what time zone you're in, but 45 after quarter till. But until then, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at Data Center Dude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.
This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Junior.
The villain, Marty Scurll. The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the busted wide open.
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 Boston Wide Open. Busted Wide Open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from across the BWO universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is the Patron Mailbag, episode number 80. 80 of these we've done. My name is Nick Howell.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and yes, we are here to answer your questions. All you had to do was go to patreon.com/BWO, sign up for one of our reward tiers, and you too can ask questions of us that we will answer right here on this very show. Something we do every week right after our regularly broadcast Tuesday show, which goes on, of course, at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. This comes on after that show, usually around 6:30/9:30.
Thereabouts.
And here we are. You can also go to linktree.com/BWO to find all of our other links to everything else. You just hit all of those. Just click everything on linktree.com/BWO, and you'll sign up for everything and get notifications and hear all about everything that we're doing across all the different platforms that we are on, which is at this point is pretty many. We're on a lot of places now.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
But there's a lot of them. But we're here to answer questions today. It's an AMA style format. You can ask us anything. We are a wrestling show, so typically it's about wrestling, but it can really be about anything you want. We'll talk about anything. We love talking about anything. We love to talk.
We're huge nerds. We love talking about all kinds of stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So hit us with anything. We're open. We also like food. We talk about food, video games, music, movies, whatever. We'll talk about it all. But of course, we are a wrestling show, so it's kind of primarily about that. So that's always a good time. Nick, do we have anything to do, or should we just hop right in and start answering some questions?
We need to get you a new laptop.
We sure do.
That's what we need to do. So guys, bear with us a little bit of the technical difficulties. It's Ian's computer's chugging over there a little bit tonight with Skype. So it's not happy, but the audio sounds great, so bear with us on a little bit of delay. I know it makes it a little bit more difficult to watch, but bear with us. We'll get it all sorted out. Kicking things off first tonight, he's back at the top spot. The one and only Mullet King, Brandon Monroe, coming in from Australia, getting his in first. Says, first in, Mullet reigns supreme. And I don't know why that just tickles me to read. It's hilarious. Mullet reigns supreme. I want somebody to come to the wrestling where their name is Mullet, and they can just come out and go, Mullet reigns supreme. I want to hear that. He says
either that or just have Roman cut the sides of his hair so he's Mullet reigns.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Just saying. I remember there was a deathmatch wrestler named Supreme too, so I think he passed away recently.
Yeah.
So you could that'd be like a tag team. Roman Reigns cuts his hair into a mullet, tags with Supreme.
Yeah.
Mullet reigns supreme.
Mullet reigns supreme. Yeah.
Hey! Got it. What's Brandon got to say today?
He says, hey, great ones. I hope you all are experiencing life at its fullest potential and getting positivity streamlined into yourself and into your family and friends. Now, my question. Thank you. Ian, choose a chamber match for 6 WCW. I assume he means an elimination chamber match. Is that what we're going with here?
Yeah, elimination chamber. Yeah, 6 people. That's elimination chamber.
Yeah, okay. 6 WCW main eventers and a chamber match for 6 WCW cruiserweights. And then I have to do a chamber match for 6 WWF main eventers and a chamber match for 6 hardcore, which that's a somebody might die match. And I'm all here for it. And who would go over in every match and what are some high spots?
Wow.
That's a lot. Ian, let's start with you. Let's do the easy ones first. Let's do your 6 WCW main eventers, and I'll do my 6 WWF main eventers, and then we can kind of do the second ones.
Okay. So 6 WWE main eventers. Let's go. Let's see. I mean, how do I not do the NWO? I'm trying not. How do I not do the NWO?
You have to.
I kind of have to, right?
They were WCW in the
I know.
end
All right.
of the 90s.
I'll take the easy way out and just give you
They
Hogan.
even spray painted Goldberg. Like it's.
How about
that
this?
was it.
Hogan, Nash, Sting, DDP, Booker T, and Goldberg are my 6.
Hogan, Nash, Sting, Booker T, Goldberg,
and DDP.
Yeah, that's a nice list. That's a nice match.
Okay. Thank you.
If I'm going to do 6 WWF main eventers, you have to have Stone Cold and The Rock in there. You have to have Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have Shawn Michaels. You have to have The Undertaker. And for spiciness, I'm going to throw in one of the faces of Foley, Mankind.
Nice. I like that.
Right?
Okay.
So did you say who was going to win yours?
We hadn't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
I was just going to have everyone fight it out. Goldberg comes out 6th, then just spear, jackhammer, spear, jackhammer, spear, jackhammer, spear, jackhammer, spear, jackhammer. Goldberg wins. Because of WCW.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Spear, jackhammer, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
For WWF, for that list, I mean, there's something goofy where I almost want to say the first 5 all somehow eliminate themselves and Mankind's cell just opens and he just wins. It could be fun, something fun and goofy like that.
What?
Right.
Come on, man. I took the lazy way out. Don't you take the lazy way out.
Don't take the lazy way out. Well, I mean,
No.
How does Stone Cold not just walk around and stunner everybody and stand tall? I mean, it's one of those things where
people team up on him.
They do.
It's The Rock. You can't just stun Rock and have him be out.
Well, I mean, he's done that.
You know what?
several
Here's the thing. Think about it. They had the Hell in a Cell with 6 guys, and I think most of them were the 6 guys you picked.
Yeah, they were the 6 guys of that
Right,
time.
and they had a competitive match.
Yeah, I think it would be a really good match. I mean, those are all legends of wrestling. Those guys will all go down in history as legends of wrestling, especially for that era. If I had to fantasy book this in a short version of this match,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm absolutely looking at Stone Cold and Rock as top contenders, but I think Triple H somehow gets a sledgehammer into the chamber. Maybe I don't know.
So is this match taking place in 2003? Is that what's happening? So Triple H gets the sledgehammer in there and golden shovels everybody?
Man, not that late. Maybe like 2001.
Okay.
Thereabouts.
So before the Reign of Terror.
Before the Reign of Terror. Like, he's still kind of all in on DX. If I remember my timeline right. Like, maybe Billy Gunn sneaks a sledgehammer into him or something.
Why do we still call it the Reign of Terror and not the Reign of Terrorizing? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I don't know where it got that nickname, to be honest with you.
Reign of Terror?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because he.
Well, I understand why. I don't know where it came from. Like, who coined that?
That I don't know. I don't know the etymology of it. That would be good to know. I don't know.
Man,
whoever
Pritchard
coined
or Cornette,
it, though,
one of those two probably know.
I doubt Cornette knows because he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't there
around by that point. Pritchard, I think, was out by that point
Heyman
too.
Might.
Heyman, but again, why would they? I would assume it would be someone outside of WWE, about like a journalist or someone. Just because no one in WWE is going to take shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or someone like CM Punk, someone countercultural in that sense, where they would take shots once WWE fires them. You know, that's my suspicion.
I think Triple H wins mine. That's my my flyer pick.
I mean, it's realistic.
Yeah,
it's like Goldberg winning mine. It's realistic.
Well, I mean, you can book circles around that with everybody else that's in that match. Like that's 2 years of booking for me with everybody that's in there and Triple H winning that thing. If I have Stone Cold go over, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but it's kind of boring. Like it's lazy. But I want to make it interesting for 2 years. Like Stone Cold can't believe that Triple H got one over, and it wasn't. He didn't exactly eat the pin, or he didn't exactly get eliminated, whatever the reason might be. And he's constantly going to be chasing back and trying to get back to Triple H, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could make mine exciting too, and have it be one of those things where everyone teams up on Goldberg, But the thing is, there's no way you're pinning Goldberg at that point unless there's some sort of shenanigans. So I don't think it's realistic. But if you had like at the end, a spot where like as DDP is being carted out of the ring, he gets pinned, being carted out of the chamber. As he goes out, he tosses a bat to Sting in the ring, and Sting like goes on a heroic rampage because you can tell that Hogan and Nash are teaming up to try to get to the end, so that if it's just Hogan and Nash, Hogan can finger poke Nash and win the whole thing. And Sting, comes along and scuttles the whole thing. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry when I'm looking like Max Headroom because apparently my internet sucks.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's that time of day in LA. It happens. The next part of this, you had to book 6 WCW cruiserweight wrestlers in a chamber match, and I had to do 6 hardcore wrestlers in WWF. So who were your 6 cruiserweights that you'd put into a chamber match from WCW?
This is easy for me. Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
Boom. Billy Kidman.
Hey.
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Nice.
Psychosis.
Ooh.
The original chairman of WCW,
Yeah.
La
Parka, yeah.
And Ultimo Dragon.
Nice. Oh, that's a good match.
Yeah, that's right there. That's all time.
How does it finish, and what are the highlights?
The highlights are all 6 of them climbing the cage together and hanging from the rooftop, kicking at each other until one of them falls. Another one does a splash onto him. The next one does a splash onto the 2 of them, and so forth until they're all lying in a pile on the ground. Who wins? Realistically, for the era, Billy Kidman. Who would I like to win? Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Or La Parka. It'd be fun if La Parka won. Could do the dance. It's especially funny with my laggy internet.
Right.
Hey,
it's working now. Okay.
And no. I knew I was going to get yelled at for this. Esme showed up in the chat. It's like, no, Dean Malenko. Yeah. You know who else? No Benoit. No Jericho. No Chavo Guerrero. No Juventud Guerrero. There's a lot of people I left out.
None of them Guerreros.
None of them Guerreros. I didn't put in Eddie. What do you think about that? I could have. No Chris Candido. I could have put a lot of people in. That their cruiserweight division was stacked.
Yeah.
Stacked
like the NXT women's division right now.
Hello. Stacked like Eva Marie. Anyway, but there you go. So there's my cruiserweights. You have hardcore wrestlers, sir.
Hey now. Let's see. Got to get a little hit in first.
I love that Hey Now, by the way, has made its way from the Howard Stern show into just popular lexicon.
Yes.
At this point. Well, actually, I guess technically it was started off at the Larry Sanders show. Larry Sanders show, and then Stern started imitating it, and then now everyone does it.
Yep.
Who remembers a Larry Sanders show? Anyway, I digress.
Oh, am I not supposed to remember it? I do. Yeah.
Good boy. Good boy.
How do you not start off a 6-way hardcore elimination chamber match without the Hollies? Bob Holly and Crash Holly comes down carrying a scale. We're going to kick things off. These 2 are obviously going to team up against everybody else that's in there. We're going to throw a little bit of... Who else did I have here? Steve Blackman, multiple-time hardcore champion, is going to be in this match. We're going to have Big Boss Man, multiple-time hardcore champion, in this match. That's 4. You know what? For giggles, let's put Al Snow in there. He's had it a few times.
You're damn right.
He's the craziest man on the roster. Absolutely has to be in there. And I'm torn between one of these last 2.
Chainsaw Charlie. Oh, sorry. I'm not supposed to interfere.
No.
Come on.
I don't want to put Bubba Ray in there without Devon.
What about Raven?
Raven is the one that I'm leaning
What
towards.
about Raven? He was, how many times did that guy have the hardcore championship? He had a ton. I think he's like 10. Second behind. He's second behind Crash, I think, in most number of times holding it.
Yeah, well, Bob's had it quite a few times, too. And I mean, yeah.
Hold on. Looking this up.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking at it right now. Rain, let me see. Raven. 6 days. Yeah. 10, 11, 12, 13. He had it 14, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
Crash Holly had it 17 as well. There's 18 for Raven, 18 for Crash, 20 for Raven, 21 for God. He had it the most, didn't he? 22.
Yes, he did.
Crash had it 20. 24 times for Raven, 26 times.
Damn.
27 times. At the peak, 2002. He won it at a house show in Indiana for the 27th time. Crash Holly, no, that was Steven Richards, had it 21 times.
Stevie Richards had it that many times?
Yeah. Crash Holly had it 22 times.
Okay, so Raven has the most. So you got to have him in there.
Got to have Raven in there.
Got to have Raven.
To me, this is a no-brainer. The Hollies team up on everybody. Towards the end, they end up eliminating Bob. Crash Holly just goes apoplectic over this and just beats the ever-living shit out of everybody else. Crash Holly absolutely
Crash Holly
wins.
goes over.
Crash Holly wins.
All 400 pounds of him?
Absolutely.
Love it. Well, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Raven didn't win. That's kind of flocked up, but it's okay. I'll take Crash Holly. I think it's appropriate.
He went out on trying to get Bob Holly out. So
rest in peace, Crash.
Yes.
God, he was entertaining.
Yeah, he was really good. One of my favorite parts of the Attitude Era. One of the unsung heroes of the Attitude Era, in my opinion.
Seriously.
Oh, actually, Molly, Bob, and Crash, all of them.
That whole thing, all the Hollies.
Yep.
The Hollies was what a great angle that was.
Amongst greatness of everything else that was going on during the Attitude Era, frankly, they were some of the most entertaining bits of Raw and SmackDown during that era.
Yep. I agree. Looked forward to it every week.
Yep. Awesome. Well, there you go, Mullet King. Good night and goodbye and good night. Bang. Thank you very much, sir. Next up, Martin Welch says, good morning, pod gents and phenomenal ladies, gents, and all others. I hope this day finds you happy, healthy, and full of the joys of life.
Ooh, thank you.
I had my second shot today, so the next couple of days are going to suck. My back's thrown out.
You just had a gummy, so you're doing just fine.
I'm all right. He said, over here in not so sunny South London. Don't be telling people that stuff. Ian.
What?
Over here in not so sunny South London, life is good.
You're a happy man right now. It makes you very entertaining. It's amazing.
We finally have an ADHD diagnosis for my youngest, so we can get him a little help in school, and I've woken up this morning without pain in my knee.
That's just legal now.
Yeah, well, not here with Barney Fife in North Carolina.
By the way,
North Carolina.
Martin Welch, that's great news,
yeah,
though, sir.
Oh, the joys of being a little heavy. Yeah. Anyway, the question for today is, if you haven't already, can you recast the original Ghostbusters? Have we done Ghostbusters? I feel like we've done
with wrestlers. No, we haven't.
No. Okay. Well,
I don't think so. I'm down.
Okay. Who's Venkman?
Who's Venkman? Venkman is Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Jericho?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like young Jericho, like 2000 Unified Champion Jericho.
Yeah.
As Venkman.
Y2J Jericho.
Y2J
as
Jericho.
Venkman. Oh, that's good.
I agree.
The ladies' man.
She sleeps over the covers. 4 feet over the covers. Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor, it's true. This man has no dick.
Exactly. Who else we got? Spangler.
Spangler. That was
Harold
Dan Aykroyd,
Ramis.
right? Harold
nerdy kind of guy.
Sami Zayn.
Okay. Let's see. Who else we got?
Put like nerdy glasses on him. Absolutely.
We've got Winston.
Keith Lee.
Okay. Yes.
Seriously. Imagine him giving that Rivers of Blood speech in the car. Perfect.
Yeah. And the other guy was Ray. I don't remember his character's last name.
Ray. Someone asks you if you are a god. You say yes. Dan Aykroyd character.
Dan Aykroyd.
Why do I want Matt Riddle to play that part?
No, he needs to be like somebody like pseudo-serious. Like, because the thing about Ray was that he was the
so
serious
earnest.
one. He was the earnest one.
Very, very earnest.
Venkman was always screwing around. Ramis was too busy collecting mold spores and fungus. But he was always the one that he was the glue that held everything together.
Yeah. Yeah. Harold Ramis' character was too nerdy to even realize that the secretary was hitting on him.
Right. Janine.
Janine, that's right. There you go. Who plays the Aykroyd character? What about
Eddie Kingston. Do you know why? Because he's convinced that wrestling is real. And he goes out there every week thinking that everything that he's doing is real and he believes in it.
I'm not mad at
and
that.
He'll fight for it to the death.
It's like a very different. It's like if Dan Aykroyd's character grew up on the wrong side of town,
right,
as opposed to going to the nice college.
He grew up in the Bronx instead of Queens, right. You know.
I'm not mad at it though. That'd be entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
I don't think it's spot on casting. We're not doing one for one, but I would totally do Eddie Kingston as Ray.
Well, I've got a one-on-one for you.
What's the line when Gozer first shows up? He goes, yeah, if you would remove yourself to the nearest parallel dimension as soon as possible, that'd be wonderful. I'm about to come up there and break your fucking arm. Nimble little minx.
The secretary, Janine Melnitz.
Janine Melnitz.
What do you want?
Shotzi Blackheart.
I was going to go Nikki Cross.
She's too man. Nikki's nuts. Like, she has to downplay it. Nikki's
Shotzi's
one of my
not nuts. Shotzi's batshit.
But she's batshit in the way where she could totally play secretary and then get batshit. Whereas like Nikki's just I want to see like Nikki would be like Slimer. You know what I mean? Running down the hallways. Nikki would be Slimer, like flying around the roof of the ballroom.
Yeah.
That'd be Nikki. Nikki Slimer.
And finally, Rick Moranis' character. I cannot even remember his name.
It was something.
The Keymaster.
Yeah.
There is
no
data, only soul.
Okay, honey, that's a lovely singing voice.
Lovely singing voice you have.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch this movie right as soon as it's done. God, it's a classic. Rick Moranis' character, Malcolm Bivens.
Okay, I'm down with
that.
Oh
no. Malcolm Bivens should be the EPA guy, the red-haired guy. The guy who was also in Die Hard, like he was the character actor from the 80s that played a dick in everything.
Oh, the guy that was in Real Genius, the professor.
Yeah,
that guy. He's a dick.
Exactly, Malcolm Bivens.
That's Malcolm Bivens.
Plays him. Okay, so Rick Moranis. Ooh.
Shut it down. Shut it down now.
Shut it down now. That's one big Twinkie.
So we got to do Rick Moranis, and the piece de resistance is the Sigourney Weaver character.
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah. Sigourney Weaver, I'm actually going to say first hit was going to be Chelsea Green, but I might be reconsidering.
Britt Baker.
I'm not mad at that either. You know what? No. Sigourney Weaver, 6 foot tall, statuesque, beautiful, serious, but has like a beautiful smile. Who does that remind you of?
Charlotte
Current NXT champion, Raquel Gonzalez.
Hey, nice.
Yeah. Yep. Also, when she turns into the gatekeeper, that would be goddamn terrifying.
Yeah, it would.
So, she's a dog. Rick Moranis. We still haven't gotten Rick Moranis. He's a tough
Sammy
one.
Guevara.
Joey Janela.
There it is.
Bam.
That's right, Jay. I see you over there. Yes, sir, it's true. This man has no dick. Oh, man. Well, there you go, Martin. There's your recasting. Did we get it? Did we miss anybody?
Did you miss anybody? We didn't have Gozer. Do we need Gozer? Gozer can be
like the David
Charlotte,
Bowie looking.
She can be Charlotte
figure.
Flair, and then Otis can be the Stay Puft Marshmallow.
I got it. You know who Gozer is?
Who?
Hi, guys, I'm here.
No, Damian Priest can't be Gozer.
Yes.
Come on. That's one of the original
It's been my
pansexual characters in
dream
cinema.
to play Gozer in a remake of
No,
Ghostbusters.
Damian Priest, you can't be in Ghostbusters. I know that just because you heard your voice a second ago and you thought one of the evil Satan dogs was you.
the form of your destructor.
Okay. Nick. No. Charlotte Flair is Gozer. Otis Stay Puft.
Sorry.
Otis is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We're moving on. Thank you very much.
Bingo.
Mark.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, please put Otis. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm coming.
But yeah. Oh, God.
Ray.
Oh, I want that now
What did
so
you do?
bad. Oh, I want Otis instead of the Stay Puft Mark. I just want a giant kaiju Otis.
Someone
wrecking
oh
its
my
city.
God, a giant kaiju Otis. Oh. Kind of like the Japanese movie where Ibushi and Minoru Suzuki played kaiju and were beating up the other kaiju.
Yeah.
Like have that be Otis.
Yes.
Oh. Yep. Done. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much, Martin. That was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. And yes, I do need to go watch that movie again. It's awesome. Next up, Yardy. What's up, man? It's a good Von Dames in heading. I hope everybody is having a great day, and may the 4th be with you all. Which Star Wars characters would you love to see in a wrestling ring or program? As always, thank you for being amazing. Thank you, Yardy.
Thank you, brother. Which Star Wars characters would I like to see as wrestlers?
Ewoks.
What? What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What are you talking about? This is like Mexican midget wrestling? What are you talking about here?
Little people, but yes.
That's
one of the funniest things I've ever seen in wrestling was Hornswoggle versus El Torito in the WLC match.
The WLC, We Walk LC match?
Oh, God.
Yeah, you can do that. I don't know, but I would be really entertained to see Darth Vader get into a wrestling ring and start force choking people.
Yeah. And he uses the Force and does wrestling moves somehow without even touching them.
Mm-hmm.
By God, what a crippling suplex from Darth Vader! He didn't even touch him.
He didn't even touch him. He's just flinging them all over with the Force. Who else would be really fun?
He just ping pongs them between the ropes.
Right. Oh my God. Let's see.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
What?
Qui-Gon.
Why?
He was one of the original, he was part of the original Jedi Master Troop. You know, it was fantastic.
What about him in a wrestling ring makes you intrigued, though?
I feel like he's got that wisdom and knowledge. Like he could almost just predict anything you have coming that you're going to throw at him, and he'll just kind of move out of the way of it and counter it. Like
anything except for a double-edged red lightsaber. Can't see that coming.
That's true. He did
Can't
he
see
did
that
not
coming.
see that one.
Can't see the kid that he thinks is wonderful becoming the greatest threat to the Force and the universe that's ever existed. Couldn't see that one coming. Great foresight there, Qui-Gon.
Couldn't interpret that the prophecy was actually
the
chosen one of the bad guys.
Right. Yeah. He couldn't see that coming. Great foresight. Yeah. No, Nick. No. Qui-Gon Jinn, loser. That being said, Darth Maul, you could throw him in the cruiserweight division, and that'd be a lot of fun.
Esme wins, by the way. Look at chat.
Oh.
Yeah. Esme wins.
Well, that's one you should have picked, Nick. You like the big meaty men.
Yeah.
Why not a big meaty man covered in a big
I'm
carpet?
not sure Chewbacca identifies as a man, but it's big old 7-foot Chewbacca.
He's 7'2". Vince would push him to the moon.
Yeah.
Giant Gonzalez was basically a shaved Chewbacca.
Yeah. Look at Omos right now, almost 400 pounds, 7 foot tall.
Imagine Chewbacca giving someone a German suplex. That shit would be legit. Chewbacca versus Walter.
If a 7-footer came in and put a Chewbacca costume on and got in the ring and superplexed somebody off the top turnbuckle, I'm in. I'm just absolutely all in.
I want to see that match. Chewbacca versus an AT-AT. Or an ATST. Rather.
Well, we do have the meme of Randy Orton RKOing the AT-AT as it falls.
Yes. I'm in.
Those are genius. Thank you very much, Yardy. There's a bunch of choices for you. Let us know which one you like the best. Next up, the Mop Man, Mr. Sean Clark, says, hello, gentlemen and phenomenal ones. Sending you all love and positive vibes today or whatever day you're hearing this. If today was gold, keep it up. If it was crap, throw it back and start anew tomorrow. Things can change on a dime. Believe it. They absolutely can.
Thank you, sir.
He says, I haven't watched Raw in 3 weeks because, well, Raw. Also haven't missed much. Enjoy your recaps. That's why I demand their releases publicly. So here's my question. I think Pinnacle win and splinter the Inner Circle. Maybe Jericho takes a break. LAX finds fire. Sammy has a singles run of good matches. But what do you want to see the Pinnacle do next?
Exactly that. You literally just took the words out of my mouth. I want to see them break up the Inner Circle. Inner Circle all go on their separate ways and have a redemption arc where they finally come back together in a year. And Pinnacle becomes like the new dominant heel faction in AEW. They need that. If Pinnacle loses to Inner Circle tomorrow, it will, in my opinion, be a huge step backward for that faction. You have to rebuild them from scratch to make them be taken seriously. You've already got a bunch of guys who are on the edge, like Shawn Spears, FTR. They're all on the brink of feeling like they're on Shawn Spears is on a downhill slide. He's been on it for a while. FTR is starting a downhill slide. If they lose here, it's going to just make that even more so. And MJF also needs to keep his propulsion going. So there's a lot of reasons why Pinnacle should win tomorrow, need to win tomorrow, and it would legitimize them. You had a little run of Inner Circle being face. They can go off and be faces in their splintered roles, and then it's a nice angle to have them all come back together. Jericho was interviewed, and he said that he felt like Inner Circle had done everything that they could do as heels, and they wanted to be faces. I feel like that is tantamount to saying they're almost done with everything that you can do with Inner Circle. One more reason why this is what you said, Sean, is exactly what should happen. Whether it will or not, I don't know, because Jericho also loves to hear adulation, and now he's a face. He can go out there and win this big ass match, the first of its kind that's ever happened in AEW, and make it a big deal when he stands tall at the end.
And he can go focus on brokering New Japan coming over to AEW.
If he loses this match, if he wins it, I don't think
if he loses, yeah. There's no way they should win that. The one person you didn't mention that I think they should push to the moon, Wardlow.
Wardlow,
absolutely. I think, is the guy of FTR's had the titles already. They're going to be fine. I don't think Shawn Spears is going to go anywhere, unfortunately.
And by the way, FTR did not. It was a mediocre run as the champs with a lame finish.
It was forgettable. I agree with that completely. I want to see LAX go back to being the high-speed, flying, just smash-mouth team that they were, one of the best tag teams in the Indies. I want to see that back. Those guys feel like chumps right now.
Break them all apart and have them all have to rebuild from scratch.
Yes. I want to see them just rise to the top. And there's so much tag team wrestling going on in AEW right now that they could blend in pretty easily and start having some competitive matches and work on their win-loss record. Get them on Dark and Elevate.
Yep.
And it absolutely. Sammy's the one that I have questions about. I feel like he's had a couple of opportunities. He had the thing where he left. I'm not sure what to do with Sammy Guevara at this.
Well, we know that he left.
Do you throw him at Darby Allin again for the TNT title? I don't know.
I don't know. I think you could do a lot with Sammy as a singles guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there for him to do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, I think it's the best option.
I agree, Sean. Break him up. Let's wrap it up.
Yep.
Thank you very much, sir. Next up, Jay Reyes. What's up, Jay? Over in chat on YouTube. Dude? I see you, man.
Hey.
Says, okay, guys, I don't have a music question this week. I couldn't think of a wrestling question. So I have a question having to do with my third great love, behind, of course, wrestling, music, and my wife, but not in any particular order. Gaming.
His fourth great love.
Yeah, exactly. I know you guys love video games, as do I. However, I very much love board games. I have for over at least 4 decades of my existence have been into tabletop gaming. You know, your Dungeons and Dragons and the like. Problem is I can never seem to find anybody to play with, so I would pick up a campaign and then never be able to finish it. Tabletop gaming isn't like video games where you only just need the game and a system. Board games, you need to have the games and some friends over. Tabletop gaming, you build campaigns that can last for weeks, months, and years even. Do you guys play? And if so, what game?
That's funny, man, because I actually growing up on a I guess a pseudo farm in kind of the backwoods of Northern California, I also would play when I could, but then I was so far away from any other friends, I barely ever got a chance to play. But yeah, definitely did when I was a kid. There's a reason that Nick and I both still have 20-sided die lying around our desks. But I had the same problem where I'd start campaigns and then couldn't see other people enough to finish them. But so Nick, what were some games that you grew up on?
The classic board games, we would play family nights.
He's saying tabletop games. Are we talking? That's talking like.
Well, I'm going to get there.
Kind of
Yeah. So
okay.
mine started out with Life in Candyland and a lot of Monopoly. We would have Monopoly games that would go on for weeks, and there would be a special section of the table that we would play at so that we could eat dinner at the other section, at the other end of the table. And the Monopoly board and everybody's money and cards, and there was a true honor system about it. Like, it would go on for weeks, and we would play for maybe an hour a night, something like that. But it would go on just indefinitely. Now, we bent the rules a little bit, and we made our own rules in a way so that we could change the monetary values of certain things, and it kept the game going on longer than it would if you played by the stock rules.
It is actually something that Monopoly says in the rules, is that you can bend stuff, like you can you can make deals, off the table deals, like the stuff that's not in the game that you're allowed to do, like something that you would do in normal business. So.
We would do stuff like to get out of a debt, we would keep the property and the hotels and everything on it, but we'd have to pay them 60% of any income that we made. So when somebody landed on the property, they got a 60% house rake every time. And it made things interesting when you built property like that, right?
It's funny. The last time I played Monopoly was at least 20 years ago, because it is such a long game. I've never really had an opportunity to play it since. But the last time I played it was against my pops, who was in real estate. He was in real estate. Yeah, he still kind of is. But he always used to make fun of my business acumen because it's not that great. But then I beat his ass thoroughly at Monopoly, and I've never let him live it down. Like, I thought that you were the businessman, Dad. Can't even beat me at Monopoly, huh? Huh? How about that? Maybe I should be running those companies, huh? How about that?
Yep. Then I got into, and when I got to college, I got into some of the more discreet super nerd stuff like Warhammer, and I started getting into D&D a little bit more. There's a show here on Twitch.
Fantasy Warhammer or 40K?
40K.
Nice.
Yep. So there's a show called Critical. I can't remember it's on Twitch, but they also put it out as a podcast. Critical Role or something like that. I can't remember what the exact name.
Critical Hit?
Maybe. It's Critical something. I don't think it's Hit, but I'll look it up and find it for you guys. Great show, and it hosts a lot of the folks that do voiceover for Overwatch. So I mean, there's some celebs that are part of it now, and it's garnered a huge audience, and kind of been Dog Ziggler. I know you watch.
He's very excited about
it. He's interested in checking it out. So this is one of those that has brought me back around. But yes, since video games have really taken over my life, I haven't done nearly as much tabletop gaming. I was never a trading card guy anyway, other than baseball cards. So I never got into Magic the Gathering. I've played a little bit of like not Heroes of the Storm. Hearthstone. That's the Blizzard one.
Yeah.
Where they have the trading card stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And speaking of Blizzard, one of the founders of Blizzard, Chris Metzen, who left and retired a few years ago, started up a kind of a passion project called War Chief Gaming. And they have released their first campaign on Kickstarter called Ouroboros. And it's basically a D&D campaign. They are old D&D and Warhammer guys. That's how they got started doing Warcraft. A lot of the inspiration of Warcraft came from those old things. So yeah, definitely if you're into tabletop stuff, make sure you go and support their Kickstarter and get a copy of it. The content looks absolutely amazing. So nice. I'll drop a link into the chat for you guys that might be interested in that. But I'm definitely not anywhere near into the tabletop stuff. Like Stratego and Risk and Civilization, and like all of those kind of games that have a tabletop bent to them. I'm definitely an old hat too. I've played a lot of that stuff, but not anymore.
Mess up Civilization, yeah, totally.
Yeah, Civilization is another one of those that could go on for years.
Actually, it's funny. I've got a whole bunch of my old books right under the desk here. Hold on a second. I got.
Oh, we're going treasure hunting.
Yeah, got them right under here. Actually, see,
good Lord.
I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the role-playing game.
Nice.
Robotech.
I've seen that one. That's game. Nice.
A whole bunch of old D&D books.
Advanced D&D. Yeah. That one I used to have.
The Monster Manual.
Yeah, dude.
Like OG AD&D Player's Handbook.
I've never seen
These are worth some money, I think.
That one's probably worth some money.
Dungeon Master's Guide.
I have seen
original
that one.
edition.
Yep.
Dragonlance. I don't know if you ever saw this. It was like a throw-off.
Yep.
Spin-off AD&D.
Didn't they make a cartoon out of that, like an animated?
They had an animated show for this, or I guess a movie. But the books are great. The books are the Dragonlance books are fan-freaking-tastic. But then, like, one of my favorite ones by the guys who did the Palladium game stuff for TMNT and Robotech. And I've said this before on the show. Rifts.
Oh man,
is an absolutely freaking amazing game. Right now, I believe James Cameron's company, Stormbringer Entertainment, they own the rights to this, to a movie or series for this. This would be like the Game of Thrones of sci-fi fantasy adventure. Like they could absolutely make a series out of this, and it would be insane. I would love to see that become a series or a show or a movie or something, because the lore is so rad.
Yeah, wow.
And you could do literally anything with it, because they created a kind of I guess a conceit where you could have any kind of adventure. Like you can go through a rift and be in a fantasy world or a sci-fi world, and the world itself has vampires and cyborgs and all this stuff. Like you can do anything. So Rift's probably one of my favorite worlds.
Nice.
But there you go, Jay. Yeah, tabletop gaming, role-playing gaming, got a bit of history there.
Yeah,
bit of history there. Don't do it anymore. That's what video games are for.
Yeah, exactly. It's very time-consuming. Esme in the chat says we should do a bonus episode with JB playing D&D. Maybe we can get we can get Steven Larson to play in a campaign with us on Twitch.
I wonder.
And JB could be DM for us.
Oh no, JB's got to play. I don't know. Is JB in chat right now?
I'm not sure. I saw her earlier.
I don't know either. If she is, I'd be hilarious. I'd be very curious to see what you would do in a D&D campaign.
That's fantastic.
But, yeah.
The AEW guys were playing over the weekend. I remember watching them. Brandon Cutler was DMing, and
of course he was.
Colt Cabano,
his
and
gimmick.
Trent and Chucky T and Leva and Peter were in there. Peter Avalon.
Yeah, Cutler's gimmick is literally D&D Mark. Yeah. That's
Yes.
His group was called the Initiative. Like, come on.
Kyle Thread 100 bit said, I kind of don't want that to be made if James Cameron owns it, given my disappointment that Alita is never getting a sequel, and I love that film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another graphic novel goes to Hollywood and bites the dust. What do you expect?
Yeah, at least Rifts is a lot more open. Alita they were pretty faithful to the source material with the live action movie. You can actually watch the original anime on YouTube for free. I just came across it the other day and downloaded it. And it's pretty sweet. But again, they were pretty faithful to the source material. But here's the thing, man. If James Cameron ever gets done with freaking Avatar,
he's gonna be doing that for the next 10 years.
Oh, I know. But if he ever gets done with it, the dude is one of the best, the greatest action directors of all time. I'd love to see him put his fingers on that and not have Robert Rodriguez direct it, but someone else maybe. I don't know. I do have hope with James Cameron having his hands in it.
Yep.
So
a lot more than Rodriguez for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jay. Next up, Adon Ortega says, hello there, gentlemen. I hope you guys are doing well.
What's up?
I wanted to go back to the topic of the virtual BWO universe one more time. And I just wanted to bring up the fact that they'll likely still have the community creations feature on the next WWE 2K game. So this would mean that you could download created characters from other accounts. This could definitely make the creation of the BWO universe much easier, as, for example, I could send you the keywords to download my character, and others could do the same if we all hypothetically share similar consoles. But not just that, it could help ease the workload when creating characters, arenas, titles, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
If you were to create a hypothetical character on the game representing yourself, what would you look like?
AJ Styles.
Braun Strowman.
I mean, the last few times I've created a character, it's basically looked like me, only jacked.
Yeah, 7-foot version of me.
I'm about my height. I usually make myself like a little over 6 foot, like add a couple inches, just a little more on the top, But then just like jacked. But I don't get too unrealistic. I don't make like a huge Hulk smash version of me or anything. But
I always like in Madden. I always like making the littlest guy possible, but somehow you could tweak the numbers so that he was the strongest guy. So it would just look silly where he was just going.
You made Crash Holly.
Yeah, basically.
You made Crash Holly.
Yeah.
400 pounds, can bench press 500 pounds.
Andy and I used to play drunken Tiger Woods golf in his basement at 3 a.m. Before we ever came out to LA. And we'd come back from the bar just hammered, and we'd just play ridiculous amounts of Tiger Woods. It was a good time. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, in historically, like when I do character creation for a game, I either make like some sort of horrible Frankenstein monster or something that kind of looks like me.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Right.
So either you're going to get like a 6'2" green guy with bolts in his neck, or it's going to be me. So one of the two.
Mine would probably look more like Mr. Hyde. It's just ridiculous and giant. It's an interesting idea, Don. I haven't ruled out breaking the BWO universe back out. If we could offload the work and everybody that wanted to participate could get the game and invest and make themselves, and I could just like ingest those characters into us, and we could book a schedule and not have to spend weeks and weeks doing character creation stuff. I actually like that better. We'd have to set some naming conventions and stuff like that about who was who, and we could do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's definitely worth revisiting. So, thanks for the nudge, all that kind of stuff. So,
definitely.
We'll talk about that. Uncle Greg up next. Again, thank you for all the gift subs earlier, Uncle Greg.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
I said, gentlemen, I must say the busted wide open newlywed millionaire was extremely entertaining and got me through my shift.
Awesome. Good.
Oh,
glad to hear it.
Yes. So I have to do this just to mess with Sir Ian Dangerous.
No.
While I read your question.
Oh, God.
Now, as you were talking about other wrestling podcasts, etc., it made me wonder, what two WWE superstars would you want a tell-all podcast interview from each? One former and one current. No company man answers or NDA agreements, just straight truth.
With this music, it's making me palpitate.
Okay, I'll cut it off. What two WWE superstars would you want a tell-all podcast interview from?
I've said this before, but like my number one, like person I want hooked up to a lie detector and forced to give an interview for hours. Vince McMahon.
That didn't work out so well the last time he did that. I'm not a pervert.
Touche. But I mean, for real, like, it's a good point. But no, in all reality, like my number one, like, force him to tell the truth, get the truth out of Vince McMahon. He knows where all the skeletons are buried. For the most part, I mean, I know there's a lot of people like he's delegated to do the dirty work over the years,
but not without his knowing about it.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Dude, there's people that have gotten fired that Vince had no idea got fired. There's times that things happen and Vince doesn't know. Like the company is in some ways on autopilot on a lot of things. Yeah. But of course, I want to know what really went down with Jimmy Snuka. Like, what did Vince know? When did he know it? There's a lot of dirt underneath that man's fingernails, and I would love to hear all about it and not have any bullshit, retconning a history. Like, I want to know what happens. So I'm gonna count him as my I'll count him as my former, because I know he still works at the company, but he's kind of, he's back in the back. He's the boss. He was a superstar when he was the Mr. McMahon character. So I'll say Vince McMahon is my former. Who's your former? And then we'll do our currents.
Dead or alive? If I could have anybody? Oh man, that's tough. Oh man. That is a melting pot.
I'll give you another one I would love to get a straight up interview from. Pat Patterson.
Yeah.
If Vince knew everything, Pat knew a bunch of shit too.
I'd say the same with Michael P.S. Hayes. He's probably been involved in a lot of that stuff.
There you go. That's a good one.
Jim Ross.
Hayes is a great one.
You know who hasn't ever really been
Ross
interviewed?
Has told a lot, but
he's told a lot. He's written a couple of books, but I almost wonder how much of that is kind of his own kayfabe world that he lives in.
So like Pritchard, yeah.
Yeah, him and Pritchard with their opinions and perspectives on things.
And Heyman, you're never going to get a straight answer from Heyman.
I like what he's been doing with Inside the Ropes and doing those storytelling tours and a conversation with Paul Heyman kind of format.
Yeah, and you remember I think it was called Legends of Wrestling was out for a while. They had a round table discussion of a whole bunch of legends, and they would tell stories, and P.S. Hayes was there getting everyone drunk every time. Yeah. Like, that was fantastic.
I did like the Table for Three thing. I wish they would keep making those.
But it was so heavily edited and it was so contrived.
Yeah.
Like
there were a couple of them that were really good. Like they actually allowed AJ to talk about what it was like in TNA.
Yeah.
In the six-sided ring and all that shit.
They gave you just enough to whet your appetite, and then they didn't give you any more.
I think my former one's probably P.S. Hayes. That's probably what because I would say Jim Ross, but he's told enough, and I've read his books, and I feel like he lives in his own weird kayfabe world that it's his perspective versus everybody else, and That's hard to overcome. What about a current one?
Current one, tell all. Orton.
That's really good.
Orton. Imagine the dirt you'd get from him.
I guess he counts more as a former, but I would almost want to talk to John Cena. What was it like in that locker room amongst gods as you were coming out of OVW in 2002?
I mean, I don't know about gods. I think that's a bit of an overstatement there.
No,
but certainly,
you know what I mean, though.
It was
Rock,
an interesting
Stone Cold,
time.
Triple H, Batista,
Sure.
Orton. He had to be looking
what was it
around
like
going, I'm just this little kid, skinny kid that turned into a bodybuilder that somehow figured out how to do a couple of wrestling moves at OVW.
Hey, Cena, what was it like presiding over a 6 million person loss in ratings over the time that you were on the top of the company?
Your thoughts.
And go.
Right.
Not you, Siri.
Yeah. You're not invited.
You're not invited. Get out of here.
Let's see in the chat
Cena,
who else
really?
we got.
Tyson Kidd.
Did Macho Man sleep with Steph is one question I want answered. You know what? I don't ever want that question answered.
Why not?
I'm scared of the answer. And I don't think it's something that needs to be drudged up anymore.
If she was of age, I don't know. If she wasn't, that'd be a little questionable. And I think that's one reason why
they're talking about that this happened. She was not.
She would have been
allegedly.
17.
She was 17, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that varies depending on what state you're in, but there is that I don't know. It's subjective to an extent.
Everyone's mad at Velveteen Dream for something similar to that right now. So, although he did a lot worse stuff,
Yeah, it was a
it's still
13-year-old. So
was there a 13-year-old
Dream?
I thought it was a 16.
It might have been 16.
I didn't hear about the 13.
Yeah.
I heard the illicit pictures were set to the 16 or 17-year-old, but I don't know, 13. Anyway, not good. No matter what.
That's another
Dream.
thing I don't want to drudge up anymore. Is that guy?
Yeah, no, I do not want to have a tell-all interview from him.
No. My current one. Well, I said Cena, but I count him more as a former now. Who's active right now?
Is Triple H active? Would you call him active? He's behind the scenes. It's kind of like Vince McMahon for me.
I'm trying to think of somebody not in WWE that I would want to hear. You know, Cody might be a good one.
He said WWE superstars, didn't he?
What was it like being the shadow, the son of a plumber? What was it like, that kind of stuff?
Wait, hold on. Didn't Uncle Greg say specifically WWE superstars here?
He did.
No,
I'm sorry. He
okay.
did say WWE superstars.
Look at you trying to cheat.
Cody was actually a WWE superstar at one time.
Former. Yeah, former. Come on, man. Stick to the rules.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop playing.
Wish you both continued health and happiness. Thank you very much, Uncle Greg.
Thank you, brother.
Sir.
Thank you very much.
Esme next up says, Hola,
Hello.
papis.
Hello, Esme.
Hope you are having a wonderful May the 4th. If you can pick one match from each promotion to convince someone to watch said promotion, what match would that be? Thanks, and as always, stay sexy.
Oh, man.
I know mine already.
Okay, let's go down. Let's go down each one. WWE first.
Oh, I was starting with AEW.
Okay, start with AEW. Which one would you show people?
Pac versus Kenny Omega, February of last year.
The 30-minute Iron Man?
Iron Man match. But right before pre-pandemic Iron Man match.
Nice.
That's how I'm always going to remember that one. That was that badass match that Pac and Kenny Omega had right before we went into lockdown.
Yep. I'd probably do. I don't know. It would either be Moxley versus Brody, or more likely it would be Bucks versus Hangman and Omega for the tag championships.
Yes.
That's like one of their all-time greatest ones. So, what about WWE? What match would you show to get people to watch that? And I'm going to throw a caveat in here.
Does it have to be current stuff?
I'm going to speak for you. That's what I was going to say. You want to show them something that's going to make them watch the current product. And I'd say both of our matches in AEW would do that for AEW. What match would you show WWE would you show someone to make them watch the current product?
Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre last fall. Survivor Series?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Damn, son, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's
the two top guys going to war. Yes.
That's a really good. That's
If
a really
I have
good
to
call.
do current, yes. That's probably the best match in the last year on WWE.
Damn.
That I can remember, at least. I'm open to counters
I
on
would
that one.
do. I would do Royal Rumble 2019. Seth Rollins winning. Because you get introduced to everyone in the company. Everyone gets a little bit of shine. You get invested in characters you can come back and watch now and be intrigued by. Here's the thing. I find Royal Rumbles are the best way to get someone into a promotion. I always tell people when you watch Lucha Underground, start with the very first Aztec Warfare. You don't need to watch anything before that.
No,
It all
it's
gets
basically just a
explained
bunch
pretty
of
quickly.
Conan and Prince Puma stuff anyway.
Right. And here you're introduced to the entire roster in one go, in one match. And now you got all these people that you're intrigued by, and now you're invested in all of them. So I'd say Royal Rumble 2019. Not because it's the best match, but because it's the one that's going to get people invested in the product the quickest.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
There was
it's
a lot
gonna
of
be tough.
fallout after that one. That was also the year
yeah.
all the faces won at WrestleMania, if I remember
That's right. And
so you had Kofi Mania right after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the kind of the rise of Brock Lesnar that led to Royal Rumble #1 position end-to-end storyline at the next Royal Rumble, right?
Right.
That's a great point, actually. If you think about the year of booking we had in 2019 and what followed in 2020. Oh, man, that would actually make great bookends. Here, go back and watch the recaps from Royal Rumble 2019 to Survivor Series 2020.
So this is going to be
2
a tough one. What about NXT? What do you show them to get them to watch current product? I already know what I'm going to pick.
Watch current product?
To watch the current product. Yeah, because I would say that, Sami Zayn versus Neville, or like the Fatal 4-Way back then with Tyson Kidd.
The War Games that Pat McAfee was in.
I was going to say the Women's War Games.
Women's War Games match would be good too.
Yeah, where Raquel wins. That's the one I would pick. With Io Shirai coming off the top. That's the one in the garbage can.
Yeah.
That's the one I would pick.
Yeah.
So just that whole show. Watch that show. You got the men's War Games. I got the women's War Games from the same show.
Yeah. Just 2020 War Games. Just both matches.
War Games!
War Games!
War Games! All right, and this is going to be tough. What about New Japan? What do you watch to get people in? And I know what I'm going to pick because it's the one I used. I used on a friend to get him into New Japan, and it worked.
You used the G1 tournament in 2017 to get me into New Japan.
To get you, but that was a whole tournament.
Yeah.
What single match?
But much like so the reason I brought that up is because much to your point about the Royal Rumble, I spent 4 weeks learning about who New Japan was, what they were about, who all the players were, who all the side characters were, and like it's amazing what you can learn in a month just watching the G1, having never really paid attention to New Japan before.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out of that hot. Like, that's some of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen. Good Lord. This isn't soap opera stuff like you see on WWE.
It's very different. No, it's very different.
If I had, so current product, God, Naito Ibushi. Take your pick of matches that those guys have had. Maybe
Naito
Shingo Will Ospreay from Super
scary.
Juniors.
That's Super Juniors. That's
to 2019, I think. Yeah.
So real quick, I'm going to answer a question that popped up in the chat. There's no bits on it, but I want to answer it. Why not the North American ladder match for NXT? Asked Sheppy. Because not enough people in that match are still in NXT. The whole idea is to get people to watch the current product with the current people that are in there. Obviously, it's a great match. So is Halftime Heat. But none of those guys are still in NXT. Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, that's it. So, I would
Ricochet, Dream.
Alistair.
Black, yeah.
Ciampa and Johnny. Yeah, it was a bunch of dudes that are no longer in NXT. And that's why I would say the War Games, everyone's pretty much still in NXT. I think except Rhea. So, yeah. All right, so New Japan, you're saying Ibushi, Naito, or Will Ospreay, Shingo from Best of Super Juniors.
Yeah, it looks like they're still running that back as of Duntaku. So, I think we're going to see that feud for a long time.
Here's when I wanted to get my buddy into New Japan, and it worked. I believe the very first match I showed him was Tomohiro Ishii versus Jon Moxley. And the reason is because he knew Moxley.
G1? Or
yes, in the G1. Yeah. In Korakuen.
2019, yeah.
2019. And the reason was because he knew Jon Moxley, and he knew him as Dean Ambrose, and he hated Dean Ambrose. He thought he was goofy. He thought it was like a over the top kind of silly, cartoony character. And I'm like, no, he's a Death Rider. He's a Death Rider.
You've never seen CZW before, have you?
Yeah, right. He had to go back and check. He's actually working his way through CZW now because he's got respect for Ambrose.
Rider trucks, light tubes, and barbed wire. Yes, let's go, dude.
He's freaking out. So I showed him that, and he went, "Who the hell is this Ishii guy? He's unlike anything in Western wrestling. He's this little dude who no-sells everything. You have to kill him to get him to sell for you." And he started going down this rabbit hole of Ishii matches. Next, he was watching him versus Shibata. Then he was watching him versus Ibushi in the G1s. He watched him versus Kenny Omega. And all of a sudden, he started getting into other people in New Japan because he started watching other people who were He watched Ishii versus Shingo. And then we watched Shingo versus Ospreay. And then he got into Ospreay. And Ishii was the gateway drug to New Japan. And I think that that's something that could work for a lot of people, or Shingo Ospreay.
Yeah,
it's there. Shingo Ospreay is a great example as well because you get the kind of crazy high flying that Ospreay does, but then Shingo is just he's like jacked up New Japan. He moves so quickly and he hits so hard. He's a lot faster than most New Japan guys, but it's still that same kind of smash mouth style.
Yeah.
You talk about Bushido and like the warrior spirit and all of that, fighting spirit. That's Shingo to a T. So he's that's a good one too to kind of meld some of the Western stuff, high flying acrobatics with the Eastern stuff. So that's suggestions for that.
Suzuki versus Goto in the hair match where he shaved his own head.
That was one I showed too. I think by the time I showed him that one, he was too drunk and he kind of forgot about it. But anyway,
Kyle threw 100 bits in and said Hiromu Takahashi versus Ryu Lee at New Beginnings to get people involved into New Japan. That match made me a New Japan.
I showed one of the ones I showed him was Kushida versus Ospreay versus Marty Scurll versus Hiromu from Wrestle Kingdom. I believe it was 2018. The Fatal 4-Way match they had for the Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Right. Yeah. Oh, God.
Pulled the curtain. It was crazy, that match.
Oh, that's right. It started the show, too.
Where Ospreay comes off the scaffold. It's one where Marty walked out and hit the bird costume. Yeah. So that's a great one. Yeah, Hiromu, dude. A lot of Hiromu stuff. Hiromu versus Kushida from Dominion 2017, I think, is another good introductory one. So, yeah. There you go, Esme.
There you go. Did we? NXT UK. How do is there any doubt it's Walter versus Tyler Bate or Walter Ilya Dragunov?
I was gonna say Walter Tyler Bate, and
since Esme asked this one, I'll give it to her. Tyler Bate.
I was gonna say you could also do. Was it? God, what was their tag team called?
Who?
It was Mark Andrews.
Oh.
No, it was Mark Andrews and God, it's been so long.
You talking about the one when he was in the on 205 Live? With
No.
Gordon
It was a tag
Morgan
match. It was in Wales. It was him and Flash Morgan Webster. I forget what their tag team was called. Versus I want to say it was Grizzled Young Vets for the tag titles in Cardiff. I think that was an insane one. But yeah, I think Walter. I mean, if you want to get into the current product, Walter versus Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate's still there. Walter's still champ.
Why that over Dragunov?
Because Dragunov is an outlier. That is a match that's unlike what you will normally see on NXT UK. That's unlike anything you're going to see.
That's just like watching a man getting his ass whipped. For an hour almost.
It's a freak show. But
I wanted to.
But that's what I mean.
Tyler Bate, the strength spots from Tyler Bate actually made it such a better match choice for me.
Yeah, true David and Goliath. Yeah. It wasn't just watching a murder. Yeah. There was actual wrestling, and then you had a live ass crowd. So yeah, I would do that one. I would do Walter versus Tyler.
Same. Good question. Did we? Yeah, I guess that covers it.
It might have been Gallus. Esme. But yeah. Anyway, there you go.
There you go, Esme.
That's NXT UK.
Next up, Andy Jessup says, "Evening, gentlemen. Tonight, gents, I would like your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, but not your all-time wrestlers. You already did that, which people can listen to with a Patreon subscription at the $10 tier. No.
Hey-o.
Thank you very much for the plug. Tonight, gents, your Mount Rushmore must be over the wrestlers with the best tattoos. And to make this more fun, they must be unique monuments, so no copying each other. You may roll for initiative.
Oh, good.
Oh boy.
All right, so I gotta pick 4. You gotta pick 4
of
and
tattooed wrestlers.
If you pick Batista, I'm gonna laugh you out of the building.
If you pick Karrion Kross, I'm gonna laugh you out of the building.
Don't worry, I don't pick dudes with racist tattoos.
That's true. Or whatever the hell is on Lance Archer's back.
Oh yeah, right. His tramp stamp.
What is it, like a tombstone or a cross or something? I don't even know.
Yeah, field of tombstones, right in his tailbone. It's like, oh honey, honey. He used to have a butterfly there, but it's a cover up. I say, knowing that if I ever met Lance, he could kill me with his bare.
All right, we're rolling.
All right, so we're over initiative. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got a 20. Natural 20, baby.
5.
Natural 20. Crushed you. Roman Reigns. That tattoo makes him. Are you kidding me? There's a reason he took off his shirt. That tattoo is freaking amazing. It's not only is it a great piece of art, and it's enormous, the way that it fits on his body, the way that it enhances his pectoral muscle, his deltoids, everything. It's just a beautiful piece of work all around. It's a great bit of placement. I love tattoos that accentuate the body, that actually work with the flow of the human form. That does all of the above. It hits every single metric I want in a tattoo. Roman Reigns all day is my number 1.
For me, Randy Orton. I'm a sleeves guy. I can't wait to get my sleeves done. I absolutely love the black and gray with the skulls running down the arm. I'm a big fan of that kind of classic, the gray work that's done in that, the shading that's done in that kind of stuff. It's something that I even frankly aspire to have something like that someday. So I definitely, Randy Orton for me is probably up there. Do we count The Rock? Because he didn't really have that big ass Polynesian tattoo that like the Roman tattoo.
Are you doing your number 2 right away?
I'm not. I want to make sure that we count, because if he didn't have that stuff when he was active.
It's a Mount Rushmore. That's true. That is very true. We're counting while active.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So Rock's out because when he was active, he had that stupid Brahma Bull tattoo that's iconic but not good.
Kevin Owens also.
Well, Kevin Owens has got some cover-ups. He got some cover-ups. Kevin Owens' tattoos are actually a lot, but Kevin Owens might be on my list.
Better.
He's got some pretty good. He's got some very good. He obviously went and actually spent money on his tattoos, but I think he might be off my list because the stupid Live Evil one is just horrible. Yeah. But he might be on my list. We'll see.
All right, you're number 2.
My number 2, Aleister Black. Is there any question? That man has a bunch of good work. Every single one of them has a story. He can tell you what everyone represents. He reminded, actually, every time he takes off his shirt, I always think of the character from The Frighteners, where he's like, he opens up his shirt, he goes, "My body is a landscape of suffering." He's got a trail of stories all over his body. I've got to say Aleister Black.
It's tough. The next ones are tough. The first one's automatic for me. You took Aleister from me.
Oh.
You know who doesn't get enough credit for her tattoos?
I already know where you're going. Oh, she was also on my list, but
I don't know. Right. I can't decide in my head whether she's Mount Rushmore worthy. But she had some beautiful sleeves. And she's expanded them. They're extremely colorful. They're lucha inspired. She got her beginnings in Mexico.
Very nice.
So there's a lot of Dia de las Muertas stuff that goes on her in her sleeves. All kinds of stuff. And Lita's tattoos, Lita's sleeves are absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to put her on mine.
They were pretty iconic at the time when women didn't have tattoos. Right. I mean, like the 90s, that started becoming a thing where women would get tattoos. And at the time, her shoulder tattoo was enormous for a woman.
Yeah.
It was very counterculture. Yep. So it was pretty iconic. So I got to agree with you. Lita should be on that list. But on my list, I actually got to put another woman, Ruby Riott, who has incredible tattoos.
Oh, hell yeah.
So she's going to be on my Rushmore as well. I think that, goes without saying.
God, you're going to hate me.
She's got great stuff. Okay.
You're going to hate me. Actually, I'm going to save it till last. Never mind. My number 3 is CM Punk.
Really? Yep. The man with the Pepsi tattoo.
Forget the Pepsi tattoo. The sleeve work that he had, it's fantastic. The color, it was very bright, very colorful. Again, huge fan of sleeves. So that's kind of where I end up falling. CM Punk. I'm saving my best one for last.
Okay. I'm having a really hard time picking my last one. I wanted, like, Darby Allin. I love his tattoos. Everyone knows I'm kind of hit or miss on the character, but like I love his tattoos. I love the one skeleton arm. I love Relentless. I love all of that. But he just barely misses out. Bray Wyatt as well. I like Pentagon Jr. has got some great stuff. My last one, I've got to go Rey Mysterio.
Oh, yeah.
Rey again it's where it accentuates the body. It's really high quality, nice work. It's a little bit of multiple different cultures, not only representing like where he's from, but just like the style of the tattoos is very like it tells his story. Just seeing his tattoos, who he is. So I got to go Rey. Rey's got to be on there. Who's your last one?
I was going to troll you and say Batista.
I knew you'd be trolling.
Because, us tribal boys got to stick together, right?
You already picked Randy Orton, tribal boy.
That's true.
So
well, he didn't have too much tribal.
He did.
He got a lot of it covered up.
Pure tribal 2000s, that whole thing. Now he's covered up half of it.
My fourth, his have evolved greatly over the years. It didn't start out so great, but they've come up nicely. Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I just mentioned Bray. I think that's a great call.
So who do I have there? Randy Orton, Lita.
You have Orton,
Lita, CM Punk and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are mine.
There you go. And I've got Roman Reigns, Aleister Black, Ruby Riott, and Rey Mysterio.
I can live with that.
Better. I can sleep with that.
But there's 8 wrestlers with the best tattoos in the business.
They're definitely on there.
Batista. Seriously, look at Batista's back tattoo with the dragon. You can make fun of his tribal stuff all you want, but the dragon on his back is fantastic.
Just because you have one or two good works, he looks like a detention desk, like kids have just been doodling on him. Like 5 different kids doodling.
I'll let you tell him that to his face.
No, I'm good. Yeah. That's why he looks better when he's in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He's just covered in blue paint.
That's true. Thank you very much, faithful moderator Andy Jessup. Good question, man. Next up,
he's got a belly button tattoo of like a freaking star. I mean, who does that? Very disturbing.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny? I think it might be the same as the sun that I've got right here.
No, his is kind of like more like a diamond shape.
Oh, okay.
I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Very early 2000s. Yeah. It's very dated.
Next up, Brad Shepard. Good old Brad Shepard. Thank you very much, sir. Sheppy. Oh, he's in the chat too. Nice. Says, hello. Meant to ask a couple of weeks ago during Easter, but I forgot. Wondering what your favorite Easter candy / confection is. I like to create.
It's not Peeps. It's not Peeps.
What you got against Peeps?
I hate Peeps. They're Satan's confections.
It's marshmallow and crystallized sugar. Like what? It's delicious.
But the marshmallows, like they're always like a million years old.
That's true. It does have the consistency of dried Elmer's glue.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, you're making my case.
It's still delicious. I'll still eat an entire pack of them. They have birthday cake ones now. They have all kinds of good stuff.
I will go buy a pack of marshmallows from the store and just get some yellow sugar powder and just dip them in that, and I make my own Peeps, and they're better. F Peeps.
Fair enough. Wow. Okay, that's
Peeps
conviction.
Peeps are for Christian.
I like to create my own Easter candy magic. My wife always buys me a hollow chocolate Easter bunny. I always cut it up in sections and fill the void with Jif creamy peanut butter, basically making my own Reese's peanut butter cup. However, it is so much better because my ratio of peanut butter to chocolate is always correct. So the question is, what's your favorite,
the cut of your jib.
What's your favorite Easter candy?
Brad Shepard's peanut butter cups. That sounds amazing.
I mean, I'm still going down on my Reese's eggs. Like they're still down in there in the pantry. Like I'm still getting into them.
You're doing what to them now?
I'm chowing down. Listen,
okay.
Listen.
Hey,
12-year-old
came out of your mouth.
Hey now,
peanut butter. It's one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. Peanut butter cups are the greatest thing ever. Peanut butter cups are the greatest
And
thing ever.
don't be putting them Reese's Pieces or doing the white ones or none of that stuff. Original Reese's Pieces. Or sorry,
They are
excuse me,
great,
Reese's
but
Cups.
Not Pieces. Pieces are good.
Pieces are all right in a bag in the movie theater.
I know not everywhere has Trader Joe's. It might just be even a Southern California thing. I don't know. But Trader Joe's has peanut butter cups. They're like the little kind you get for Halloween where they're about yay big. Blow Reese's peanut butter cups out of the water.
Oh, out of the water. Okay.
Out of the water. They're so freaking good. And they come in these big old boxes like this big of them. God, I'm literally salivating right now thinking about it. It's not Easter candy. It's all year long candy. I mean, if you're talking about Easter specifically, I actually just had this conversation, I think a week or two ago, about how Easter has the most garbage candy.
Agreed.
And Halloween is where the real candy's at.
Cadbury cream eggs, yes or no?
Every time I have one, I'm worried I'm about to have a complete heart attack. Like my entire
Your
system's
blood
gonna shut
pressure
down.
just doubles.
I'm gonna shit a kidney. My body's just gonna reject it. I'm gonna immediately die of diabetes. Like just
William Brimley's just gonna knock on your front door. Like, hey, all right, it's time.
I got to talk
You
to
got the
you about
beatus.
something. You got the beatus. No, the Easter Brimley is here.
Okay, Easter Brimley.
I see you had 2 Cadbury cream eggs. It's time for you to take your insulin.
Diabetes.
Oh man, not Cadbury cream eggs. Good in theory. I could take like a bite before everything like freezes up in my body, and I'm just like I can't.
I love malt.
My blood is crystallized.
Malt crunchy candy. The robin eggs. They're like malted balls. What Whoppers? That's what I was trying to think of. The Whoppers candy, like the malted ball chocolate balls. Like they make one for Easter called robin eggs that have the same kind of effect.
Yeah.
And I really dig those. Jelly beans, I do love jelly beans, except the black licorice ones. You can throw those away. Those are useless. So Jelly Belly, jelly beans, and robin eggs, and of course peanut butter cups. Probably mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, everything that you just said. I don't think peanut butter cups are specifically Easterish. Like they're talking about cookie dough in the chat right now. Is that really just?
Well, I mean, you
Easter
get the eggs ones that Reese's makes. They make peanut butter eggs, and then for Christmas they'll do trees, right? And
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's kind of cheating.
Yeah, but when it goes on sale the day after Easter,
I'll tell you what,
for like 75 cents a piece, I'll just go down the shelf and back into my basket.
You're coming.
These will last me the rest of the year. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right.
It'll cost $7.
I'll be having these for Halloween.
Right.
They dye them like bright orange.
Hey, you're giving Easter candy out for Halloween. Yeah, here you go, kids.
That's it. But again, that's kind of, it's a cheap way around calling it Easter candy. It's not an Easter candy. It's a peanut butter cup that's Easter candy shaped. Like, yes, I will use it as a way to get out of eating candy on Easter. Like, all the stupid like pastel colored eggs and all that crap. Ugh. But all of a sudden there's an egg shaped peanut butter cup, and I'm like, I'll take you.
I'll have that.
I'll have that.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. But you can keep the rest of that powdery pastel bullshit away.
I'll tell you what, though, Sheppy. I am going to go find myself next year, if I have to, a hollowed out chocolate bunny and stuff it with creamy peanut butter.
That is happening.
Yeah, that's going down in my house.
I might go crunchy.
You just blew my mind with that.
I'm a crunchy man.
Of course you are. It just makes so much sense.
I don't even know what that means, but have it your way.
Crunchy peanut butter. Of course.
Oh yeah, you're a
crunchy tuna on raisin muffins. Of course you eat crunchy peanut butter.
It's delicious.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll go make it right now. Eat it right here.
Sorry. Thank you, Sheppy. Finally, Kyle Cotton says 2 questions this week, gentlemen. One, we've talked about how the pandemic has negatively affected people, but as more and more people get vaccinated and we return to normal, who are some people you feel benefited the most from the pandemic shutdown that wouldn't be as big if this didn't happen?
We're talking about wrestlers. We're talking about the 1%.
Bailey?
We're talking about the 1% that made $1.6 billion. Bailey, Asuka,
MVP.
MVP and it just is huge MVP, absolutely all the way.
I think Drew McIntyre actually would have been bigger.
Yeah, I think it's hurt him. Orton, I think the pandemic was pretty good for Orton.
There was a select 5 to 10 people that picked up WWE, sat it on their shoulders, and carried it for the last year.
What about AEW? Who is the I think the pandemic totally screwed over Matt Hardy. He's recovered, but really
his debut of
poor guy in the empty arena. Brutal.
Even Vanguard 1 couldn't save that.
Nope. But who did well in AEW? Who came up because of this?
I think Moxley falls into Drew territory where he needs the crowd.
Yeah, they killed him.
I think it was bad for him.
Yeah.
Who did well?
Dark Order.
I mean, it wasn't really Dark Order. Absolutely.
Between Brody passing and them being so based in social media and YouTube videos, and that being some of the best content out there that you could get over with, I think Dark Order absolutely benefited from the pandemic.
Especially taking advantage of BTE the way that they did.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Being very smart about how they delivered auxiliary content on YouTube and stuff like that. Just so good. It made you want to watch Dynamite when it came on, when you saw that on YouTube. Oh God, this is so awesome. What are they going to get into on Dynamite? I'm
trying to think of who else specifically, not just people who got pushes, but people who specifically got over or were able to get more time.
I think AEW suffered a little bit. I think they were on a kind of a meteoric rise that first 6 months.
Let's be clear. AEW survived the pandemic. I wouldn't say that they thrived. They survived. They did a bunch of very smart moves, and they survived the pandemic. This was an absolute hamstringer for them in a lot of ways. They had so much momentum going on coming into this, and that's the only reason I think that they made it, was that they had so much goodwill and stuff coming into this, and they made some very smart choices. This could have been disastrous for them. And the fact that they still put out a product and still are as popular as they are, it speaks to what they could have been. And seeing how things go after the pandemic is going to be very interesting. If they start, gaining that back again, getting the traction back, because they were going full speed ahead, gangbusters with touring and everything. They were supposed to go to London this year, or I guess last year. So much hurt them about the pandemic. So it's hard to say that they really benefited from it. I don't think that WWE had an easy go of it either, but there's definitely some performers in WWE, like we were saying, who got more time.
That's a good one, Sheppy. XFL. I agree. It was really good. Those first few weeks were really good football. And the pandemic.
It got destroyed. It killed it.
It completely killed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Killed it straight up.
It's totally the reason why it completely just.
But aren't we supposed? Didn't he ask who benefited the most?
Who benefited? Yeah.
Because XFL was the opposite of that.
Oh, yeah.
They anti-benefited.
Roman Reigns is a good one. Thank you, Kyle. I don't think he would have been able to do I don't think he would have been able to talk like this with 20,000 screaming fans.
Yeah, him and Heyman. That whole angle, that whole gimmick, big time. You know who else I think did really well? Who would not be in the position they're in, for better or for worse, but he wouldn't have been a champ. Well, Jey Uso, but that's ancillary to Roman Reigns. Evil. Would Evil have become the double champ? Would he have beaten Naito? Would they have gone to that extreme to make things interesting in New Japan if not for the pandemic?
Was that why they did it, or did they genuinely believe that Evil could carry the company?
I don't know. That's one that could go both ways, because you could
That'd be a great question. I'd love to ask Kevin Kelly. Like what was the thought process?
I'd love to ask Gato.
Well,
the guy who actually booked it. Dude, was the idea with Evil you were going to create a new main eventer, or you just were like, we got to create some eyes, we got to do some sort of big stunt to make people watch and keep people talking about us? I know, let's have this big, heel turn angle in Los Ingobernables. I mean, it did feel like it was a long time coming. It felt like it was a logical step. So there's that.
We still really haven't delivered on that. We haven't really had the...
But that's what I was going to say. Though. Yeah. Did Evil benefit, or ultimately did it hurt him because the crowds couldn't boo him?
That's a good point.
So he kind of the gimmick flopped because he couldn't get enough heat. I wonder. That's a big question.
How many lost opportunities because we didn't have the G1 till October,
Right.
instead of July or August when we normally have it.
Yeah. Tom Lawler. He's your new strong champ. Would he have been strong champ without them having to restructure everything? That's a potentially big one. Yeah. Who else?
We got a second part here from Kyle's question too. We got to do that one.
Okay. Let's do that.
That's a lot of them. He says, number 2, given how bad Raw has been, what are some things you wanted to like as a piece of media but absolutely despised despite wanting to like it? Just to give an example, for me, MCU Spider-Man is something as a longtime Spider-Man fan I want to like, but every creative move they do in those movies absolutely infuriates me because how surface level the characters are, and Iron Boy Jr. syndrome with Peter.
They seem to be moving out of that now.
Did you see the new trailer dropped yesterday for the Phase 4 stuff, Kyle? And they basically teased the next 4 or 5 years of movies that are coming out.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Everything Star Wars since the original trilogy. Not everything. Rogue One was good, but I kept going back, and I kept going back, and I want you to be good, and it's just J.J. Abrams. How could he not make a good Star Wars movie?
Well, he made the masturbatory fan service movie that the executives wanted, and he did it twice.
I had so much hope because of the first Star Trek, and then I saw the second Star Trek, and I was like, oh, God, JJ, what are you doing? And then he basically made Star Trek 2 into Episode 7. Yeah. Hot garbage. Terrible. Yeah. That's just the first one off the top of my head. What else?
Agreed, Sheppy. Rogue One is probably the hidden gem of the
straight
prequels or the spinoffs.
Not even hidden.
All right, so what are we doing here? What are things you wanted to like as a piece of media but absolutely despised?
What else? Metallica and Lou Reed having a collaboration album. I'm kidding. Everyone knew that was going to be garbage. Let's see. What else? What do you got, Nick? What's something that you wanted to like but couldn't like as much as you wanted to?
That's funny. You know, when I think about these things, I think about how many things I forget about because I didn't like them.
Right.
And that's
The Hobbit.
So I'm the outlier. I actually dig the Hobbit movies.
All right. Hey, man. That's why you like creamy peanut butter.
Listen, this has nothing to do with my penchant.
You're a creamy man.
My penchant for creamy peanut butter.
That's just what a creamy peanut butter man would
Did
say.
Peter Jackson need to make a 100-page short novel into three-hour movies? No.
Nope.
Did I, as a Middle Earth absolute mark, just enjoy being in that universe for an additional 9 hours? You bet your sweet ass I did.
Well, I would enjoy it more when it doesn't look like a goddamn video game.
Well, change the settings on your TV.
It's supposed to look lived in.
I know.
Hey, man, he's the one who
trying to
filmed
push technology
in 60 frames. He's the one who filmed it in 60 frames, not me. You want to put out a 30-frame version of that, then we'll talk. Otherwise, it's going to look like a video game. Frickin' judder. Good Lord.
He's so bitter. So bitter. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. What's something that I wanted to like, but I just couldn't find a way to like it?
The new Hellboy movie. Another one.
I didn't hear anybody clamoring to have that reboot done. Ron Perlman absolutely nailed those two movies. It didn't need to be done. I know David Harbour, after Stranger Things, is the new hotness in Hollywood and has to be in everything, and everybody wants to milk him for all he's worth.
If you were going to recast Hellboy, Harbour was the perfect choice. Like his sheriff character in Stranger Things is literally what Hellboy is in the comic books. I was very excited by that. I was ready for that. I thought Harbour was going to be great. And then we got, but by the director of The Descent, come on, Wolf Soldiers. It should have been a home run.
Yeah.
Should have been. I wanted it so bad. I even heard bad things. I'm like, no, it's probably still good. No, it wasn't. It was not good. It was not. Yeah. Hurts.
I really want to like some of the music that you send me sometimes, but I can't. It's too dark. It's too black metal for me.
Nick, once again, creamy, crunchy. Creamy, crunchy.
There you go. Thank you very much, Kyle. Hey, Abraham snuck one more lightning round in for us.
Nice.
So
all
we're
right.
gonna wrap up.
Lightning round?
We're gonna wrap up with a little rapid fire here.
Oh, all right. I love these. Let's go.
He says, "Hey, yo, greatest patron."
You can even put on the Bumblebee. You want to put on the Bumblebee?
Oh, we can do that. Yeah, I'll kick that as soon as we get going here. He says, "Hey, yo, greatest patron
perfect.
of all time here, and soon to be SummerSlam Pick'em's champion. I like it when you call your shot, Abe.
Damn.
I like it. Hope all you guys are having a great week so far. We got to do this in Taz voice. Hope all you guys are having a great week so far. This week is a light and rapid fire questionnaire. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh. Who is a better wrestler, Benoit or Eddie Guerrero? Benoit.
Jesus. Eddie.
NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? Backstreet Boys. Boys to Men or Jodeci?
Boys to Men.
Jodeci.
Damn, man.
Nitro Girls or the Dallas Cheerleaders?
Ooh. Nitro Girls, because F Dallas.
That's a good answer. Nitro Girls. Yes. Best heel. You'll appreciate this one as a font man.
Ooh.
Roman Reigns or Times New Roman?
I love Times New Roman. Get out of here. Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. MSN Messenger or AOL Instant Messenger?
AOL.
Grilled cheese or Philly cheesesteak?
Philly cheesesteak.
Any champ or me as champ?
Trick question.
Trick question. I'm gonna go you as champ.
Yeah, I'll go him as champ.
I'll go with you as champ.
That's this question. Yeah.
And not finally, AMD or Intel? You see, Abraham, that depends on what the workload is. Do you need that many cores in connection to the Infinity Fabric over to the memory, or do you just want raw throughput and gigahertz in clock speed in your processor? Do you want core count or clock speed? You have to decide. Are you gaming or are you doing productivity workloads? It's a subjective question. It depends. It's the classic IT answer of it depends.
Oh, man.
But AMD.
It's like someone asking me margarita or old fashioned. Depends. What do you put it in?
Right.
Yep. There you go.
And finally,
is it a sunny day? Is it a rainy day? Like, come on.
Right.
What kind of whiskey we talking? What kind of tequila? Come on. I need more details here.
Writing a script and having it made into a movie, or directing a movie that someone wrote a script for.
Directing a movie that someone wrote a script for.
I'm gonna go with writing a script that got made into a movie.
Because you can change that. You can change that damn script. You're the director.
That's true. You can do
Final
that.
say.
You
baby.
can do that.
Final say.
And finally, last one. Which was funnier, Vince peeing himself, or him getting sprayed with beer?
Which was funnier? Spray with beer every time.
Yeah, the whole spraying with beer, the beer truck thing,
Spray
always
with
wins.
beer. The way that the slipping and falling in the beer.
Stephanie was in there too, and it's just everything.
How they all were.
Stephanie's actually commented on the milk truck one where it was actually warm and kind of like
and it was
curdled and it was like rotten. Oh God.
Yeah. That's one of those stories that like every time I hear about that, same thing. Every time I hear about the story, you ever watch Day of the Dead?
Yeah, but I don't remember much about it.
Okay. There's a scene in Day of the Dead at the end of the movie where the evil captain, evil commander, whatever, the head army guy gets caught by the zombies and they pull him apart. They reach into his stomach and de-gutify him. And they apparently, so he is this whole setup that they have for this physical effect is he's actually in the floor and it's just his head sticking up, so he has a fake body on the floor. And they've loaded this body up with all of these actual pig guts, or I think they were sheep intestines, and so there's real guts. But the refrigerator they're restoring this piece in had broken down, and they didn't realize that, so they set the whole thing up, and they do the shot, and the zombies reach in and start pulling open the body, and apparently as soon as the thing pops open, this intensely rancid smell comes out, and everyone's just going, oh! You can actually see the zombies really don't want to touch the guts that much, and he's in the floor screaming, choke on him, and the reason his voice is all up like that is because he's gagging from the smell that he's stuck in the floor next to. Choke on him. Choke on him. Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. There you go.
And now with that, let's go eat dinner.
There you go. Lightning round for everybody.
Spaghetti for
with
dinner.
A fun little expose
by
by Sir Ian Dangerous on Day of the Dead.
Hey, you went off about Intel and AMD.
That's true. That's true.
That's
true. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you very much for hanging with us for another Tuesday show. They're always epic, these big 4-hour fun streams. It's so much fun. We love having you guys here. The patron mailbags are always awesome. 80 of those in the bag. Oh my God. So many questions have been fielded here on the patron mailbag. Thank you guys for hanging with us. Linktree.com/BWO is where you go to like, share, subscribe, all the things. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it, especially all of you that are patrons. If you'd like to be a patron, head over to patreon.com/BWO. Throw us $5 and get all kinds of rewards, and hell, you can get an additional bonus episode every single month that are always a lot of fun. You absolutely missed Sir Ian Dangerous sweating his pants off.
Stop it.
To the Millionaire music in Newlywed Millionaire, the April bonus episode. Plus, you've got 2 years of back catalog. 30 episodes almost, I believe, of bonus episodes you get instant access to just like that at the $10 tier. Plus all the other things you get to play in the BWO Patron Pick'ems for SummerSlam coming up in a couple of months. All kinds of good stuff over at patreon.com/BWO. It is the best way to support the show, along with all of your bits and subs here on Twitch, as well as your super chats. Okay, I'll stop torturing you. Sorry.
I'm sweating, you son of a bitch.
We'll be back on Friday breaking down SmackDown, whatever happens tomorrow night on AEW Dynamite, and whatever we missed tonight on NXT. We got to catch up on all those, but we'll catch you guys up on those on Friday. So come back and join us about 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, or right after SmackDown if it goes off the air. We will be here recapping the rest of the week of the Graps right here at Busted Wide Open. But until then, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
My God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.